Danfo offers unparalleled, curated, and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds, and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshi traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danfo, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danfo, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danfo, Africa. To learn more, visit danfo.africa.
Peace, family. We are live again. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm on the right mic. There we go. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Have Mike TV. Come on. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Hopefully everyone's having a great Sunday wherever you're at. You know, I know Elvis went to church this morning. Hopefully, you know, got a good word when you were at church this morning. Got a couple of announcements. We are rolling to Nigeria in less than a month. Oh man, less than a month. If you are last minute and if you want to roll, please visit Danfo. That's DANFO.Africa. Again, please visit Danfo. That's DANFO.Africa to learn more. In fact, let me pull up the site right now. So make sure you visit Danfo.Africa to learn more, know where we are traveling at this, this upcoming, well, we're already in the year, the next upcoming trip. So that's going to be Nigeria is August 2nd to the 11th. Zanzibar, September 20th to 29th. Kenya, September 30th through October 8th. Then we're doing Ghana and Ivory Coast in November, as well as Sierra Leone. So if you're interested in joining, please visit Danfo, that's DANFO.Africa to learn more. And we will love to host you all on one of our many exciting excursions. Again, we will love to host you all on one of our mini excursions. Also, while you're there, if you have not bought the documentary In Search of Uhuru, I need you to click on documentary, okay? And I need you to stream the documentary. Again, go to Danfo.Africa, click on documentary, and stream the documentary. I will greatly appreciate it. I need all hands on deck when it comes to the documentary. And then if you have not bought one of my books, go to Amazon.com, type in Dynasty Mirror, and buy a book. All right. I will greatly appreciate that. I love y'all. Thank you so much. It means a lot, all your guys' support. Let's jump into today's topic. What is the difference between a black? Well, I'm going to say pseudo Black Native American, because there are Black Native Americans who are mixed with Indigenous American. Okay, I'm not saying mix. And when I say mix with indigenous American, I'm not talking about the so-called pseudo black natives. I mean real indigenous Native Americans who crossed over from the Bering Strait. And people, they're mixed with indigenous Native American and actual people of African descent, so black folks. So that is what a black Native American is. Someone who is part Native American or indigenous American, meaning you came over via the Bering Strait thousands of years ago, or and mixed with black or those are someone of African descent. So you have these pseudo black Native Americans who have now hijacked the term Black Native American or Aboriginal American or Indigenous American, and who are now claiming that they are the original Americans. And they use this same tired argument about the Portuguese and Christopher Columbus when they arrived, not understanding or refusing to understand that being of darker skin is not exclusive to those of African descent or black folks, that there are some Native Americans who have a darker skin tone. They're, now they're hijacking the whole black, indigenous, Native American term. I guess that would be the correct word. These people claim that they're not of African descent. Will ask where the slave ships at. Will claim that they were never enslaved, which is okay. But then when you ask simple questions like, okay, what is your culture? What indigenous language did you speak? They don't have an answer for you. They have no response, which is interesting. Because, I mean, hey, I would like to have your Native American indigenous cuisine. What is it? I'd like to know more. Which language you speak or spoke. So I'm like, what's the culture? Because you can't hijack. You can't claim to be a black Native American, a pseudo black Native American, and then claim the Harlem Renaissance, and then claim Frederick Douglass or Booker T. Washington or George Washington Carver, Mary Bethune McLeod. Hopefully I said that right. I'm sorry if I got it mixed up. Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, Martin Delany, Malcolm X, MLK Jr. You can't claim these people because these people did not claim being indigenous Native Americans. So you have to stand on the other side of the room. It's not your culture. So then the question is, what is your culture? The Haitian who discovered Chicago was a mulatto, and the woman from Spanish writer was fictional. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're referring to. But let me pull this up real quick. It was an interesting discussion that I was watching last night with Whack 100. He's on a new podcast. I'm gonna pull it up, and then we'll throw the chat in the we'll throw the link in the chat room as well, so you guys will be able to call in and participate in the conversation. Let me pull up this conversation with Whack 100 and his wife. Here we go, right here. This should be it right here. Give me a second.
Men, right? And for a woman, you have to know yourself. 3 phases of a man. You have a seed, you have the tree, and then you have the tree that.
So you love your wife. So if she fuck a beast, I need to look in the fuck two of them. Oh, let's go. Come on.
Wait 1 moment. He's gonna finish his time.
Hold on. Let me.
Sometimes people make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, and when she make a
find a way to deep.
Hold on. I gotta find
he the same.
So now,
don't want to be.
Visionary is a man who's a dreamer.
Card as well. What does that mean?
Wait, you saying it don't expire in 10 years?
You have to go to the CDC
every 10
brother.
years.
Oh, here we go.
To go to Africa.
First of all,
bullshit diapers.
Another level. I understood that this was a man that was prideful. He was going to try to.
table
Where were you born?
with no plate, that does not make you a diner.
Where were you born?
And I
to do. So I understood. You have a visionary.
Hold on, guys.
know,
Where were you born?
and I was.
We're
going to go ahead with your book. It's interesting you asked me that. I don't believe a woman should
She
submit.
should submit.
I
So
am
good.
part
Get
of-
somebody that thinks she should.
I am. Wait.
Mrs. should be on both sides.
Some real quick things. First of all, a joke. When this brother handed his wife some diapers, I was like, "Oh, what we about to hear? Why he had a
Pass on
diaper?"
the baby.
Perfect reason to hand her diapers. But let me say, the other thing I'm gonna clean up really quickly. We think that America creates wedding contracts, marriage contracts. That's the government. Those contracts were first made in Africa.
Listen,
We're the ones that
I'm not
developed.
African.
Wait, listen.
You're not African either.
Listen.
You ain't African.
Listen. I think
Here we go. It's gonna get juicy real quick, and then the whole "we Native Americans" is about to come out. Here we go.
if
You're
I took
American.
your DNA, it would say something different.
No, you're American.
And
Where were
simply
you born?
because you sit at the table
Where were you born?
with no plate, that does not make you a diner.
Where were you born?
And I know.
Where were you born?
And I was. Where was I born?
Where?
Wait, you asked me 2 questions at the same time.
Where were you born?
I was born in the United States.
Okay, now let me ask you something. If I told you tomorrow I got a first class ticket and we leaving going to Congo, you can't go. You know why you can't go?
Why can't I go?
Because for one, your visa ain't clear, and 2, it takes 10 days after you put that shot that gotta go in any American.
Hold on. Let me see. Whack is wrong. This is how it works with the yellow fever card. Supposed to work. If you're traveling from a yellow fever non-pandemic country to, we'll say, Congo, you don't need the yellow card. Now, if you're traveling in between so-called yellow fever pandemic countries, then that's when you'll need the yellow fever card. But so Whack is wrong about that. And yes, you will need a visa to go to the Congo. But what Whack doesn't understand is other Africans in Africa would also, depending on the country, will need a visa to get into the Congo. But to be honest, guys, and this is not medical advice. Okay. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. Still consult with your own physician. They don't check for that yellow fever card at all. They don't check for it anymore. But you didn't hear that from me. All right, let's go.
American to go to Africa.
First of all,
This is a fact. African could jump on that plane.
hold on, wait.
That's just not true, Whack. In fact, I kind of want to respond to this real quick. Hold on. WAC 100 doesn't understand that other Africans, depending on the country, will also need a visa to enter the Congo. All right, let's go ahead. Let's continue.
Wait.
You ain't African.
I'm reclaiming my time. I'm reclaiming my time.
Hold on.
I'm reclaiming my time. First of all, this is a brother. This is a brother that is a chief in Ghana. The yellow fever shot he's describing
Give him
is
his time. Let them
lifetime.
go back and
I
forth.
took it 10 years ago.
bullshit.
So I do not have to wait 10 days.
You do.
Maybe
you know
you
why?
do.
You know why?
Maybe you do.
It expires every 10.
No, it does not.
Want to bet?
Listen, check the CDC.
Do you want to bet?
And tell this brother he's wrong.
Do you want me to pull it up?
Yes,
got
pull
my
it
yellow
up.
card.
Pull it up.
Want me to put a yellow card up?
I have my yellow card as well. What does that mean?
Wait, you said it don't expire in 10 years?
You have to go to the CDC,
every 10
brother.
years.
Wait. When
Every 10 years.
Every 10
but
years.
my point is this.
Brother, wait.
An African ain't got to take a shot.
Listen.
They system and everything.
See, this is where the whole pseudo Native American comes. They system, they ain't got to take a shot. They system, they hold.
I'm reclaiming my time. First of all, this is a brother that is a chief in Ghana. The yellow fever shot he's describing
Give him
is
his time. Let them go back and
I
forth.
took it 10 years ago.
Bullshit.
So I do not have to wait 10 days.
You do.
Maybe
you know
you do.
You know why?
Maybe you do.
It expires every 10.
No, it does not.
Want to bet?
Listen, check the CDC.
Do you want to bet?
And tell this brother he's wrong.
Do you want me to pull it up?
Yes,
got
pull
my
it
yellow
up.
card.
Pull it up.
Want me to put a yellow card up?
I have my yellow card as well. What does that mean?
Wait, you said it don't expire in 10 years?
You have to go to the CDC,
every 10
brother.
years.
Wait. Every 10 years.
Every 10
but
years. My point is this.
Brother, wait.
An African ain't got to take a shot.
Listen.
They system and everything about them is totally different from ours. You're not an African.
First of all,
and they don't accept you as an African.
I think you think you're talking
if you get
loud.
off that plane
First of
and
all,
tell them I'm African, they gonna tell you you're a motherfucking
hello. First of all, now you can't call me Jabari anymore. You have to call me Nana Kwame Brenya.
You know what? So I would say this: WAC. If you have that blue passport, when you get off that plane, WAC does have a point. You were considered American before anything African, even if you're black. Again, WAC does have a point there. When you're at that airport, you are considered American, and for the most part, not African. He has a point.
Which is my name.
That's just a game.
Second of all, every 10 years you have to get a new card. He's confusing getting a card with the need to get a shot.
No,
confusion.
Not.
First of all, wait a minute.
This is a fact.
Wait a minute. Brother, I took 4,000 people to Africa. You don't know about this as well as I do.
Listen to me.
So wait. Wait. Africans get yellow fever too. Yes, I'm an African.
No, you're American.
If a kitten is born in the oven, does that make it a biscuit?
You're American.
I'm an African American. I'm an African American.
You're American first.
I'm an African
You're
American.
American of African descent.
That is your understanding. You're wrong.
Africans don't
I
fuck
haven't
with you.
accepted for many years.
We're going to settle for one moment. She has to She has an interjection.
That was an interruption, brother. That was an interruption.
We're letting her interject. We have to go.
That was an interruption.
A real story. Okay, my very first time going to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all happy, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going back to Africa. I'm going back to the motherland. I'm an African American. So I get there. I go to Ghana. I get there, and they look at me and they say, because I didn't have my visa upon arrival, so I end up having to pay for that.
Right.
So they looked at me and they said, what is your family name? So my friend told me to lie and say that her father was my father, so they give me the visa upon arrival because I didn't have it when I got there. So I told them I couldn't even say the damn name right at first, right? So anyhow, so she told me to say the Ashite or something.
Okay.
So I go down there, and so they told me, I said, well, I'm African American. They said, you are not. You are not African American. There is no such thing as an African American. You are an American woman trying to find your roots. And I swear to God, and they laughed at me so hard.
That was it right there. That was the point. Listen, I want to be very clear. Hold on.
I promise you,
You allowed an interruption.
Hold on.
They laughed at me.
You ain't African.
We're going to allow you to finish your
You
time.
want to be
You
civil.
allowed an interruption to cut my flow.
You want all this bullshit.
That story don't make no sense. Because first of all, how was she able? Number one, when did she go? What? That story don't make no sense. Yeah, that story don't make no sense. Dinus, my grandpa came to Los Angeles 50 years ago, and my black ass is considered American with that blue passport too. Your point. Okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah, but that this podcast is called the 607 Unk. Hold on, what's the name of this podcast? 607 Unk Official Network. Yeah, she's lying. So number one, when did she go to? So the only time, so depending on when this podcast was shot, the only time you could enter Ghana visa on arrival was during Dirty December. Outside of that, you had to have a visa. So they would even let you on the plane to get to Ghana. But anyways, if she has an American passport, there's no way that she could get around not getting a visa to enter the country, period, with her American passport. Now, her homegirl, who was Ghanaian, might have had her Ghanaian passport. And that's why she was able to go through. But if you have an American passport, you have to have a visa to get into Ghana. I think now they do an e-visa. But yeah, that story ain't adding up.
That's right.
So let's be really clear.
Go ahead. I want to be very clear, right? And for everybody watching this, this is going kind of like her, but she just said something I want everybody to reflect on. I want to reflect on this. Something happened, right? And the things that happened, you could take a Cuban person, put him next to me, he have dark skin. You're going to consider him black, right? You're going to say he black. Our skin don't determine where we at. They don't determine nationality. See, what happened to us in slavery, something happened, and this happened to us, and y'all don't understand what happened. Our nationality was lost. The closest thing they can find us to, they direct us to is from Africa. But Africa is not us because Africa sold us.
Ooh.
Right? So everybody that's watching this got to understand.
Ooh, that's a show. We're going to do a show on that. That's look at Jabbar. He's looking up in the sky like, oh man, what'd I get myself into? It.
Understand this, we are not Africans. If you are in America, there's no way you can be Africans because you were sold by the Africans.
They didn't want your punk ass.
Guys, hit the like button. Okay, if you have not hit that like button yet, please hit that like button. But that's that. We're gonna do a separate show on that.
What is your rebuttal to Native Blacks versus African Americans?
What do you
There are
mean?
Native Blacks and there are African Americans.
Let me say something.
So I disagree with him about that, but that's a good show topic, and I can understand why someone would say that. I would say that. I disagree with him, but I understand why someone would say that.
I'm saying something. Well, Chris,
We all Native.
Here we go.
Listen, it's totally different, and I can go directly against that compared to Native. When they got here, when Christopher Columbus came here, he saw the natives, and the natives told him, "Yo, I got these weapons here. Where you get them from?" Basically, I got them from niggas. Basically,
that's not what Christopher Columbus said. Golly, man. And so this is where we get into the whole pseudo Black Native American ism. That's not what the native said to Christopher Columbus. I missed that part in Columbus Diary. So somebody can pull up the link where Christopher Columbus said, "Hey, we ran into the natives, and they said they got the weapons from Africans." I missed that part. So this is when we get into the whole pseudo Native American, we ain't Africanism right here.
I got it from black people. So basically, what I'm telling you is he got it from black people that was already here that was not African.
Okay, DeVar, we're gonna let you.
I want to be really clear. I want to be really clear. I want to be really clear that something terrible happened to African people in the United States. This is a reality. Something horrible happened. Something horrible happened.
Oh, you talking about slaves,
right? I'm talking about slavery and things that happened after.
Hold on, see.
Slavery never happened.
Here we go. This is part of pseudo black nativism, Native American. I ain't never been a slave.
I'm talking about slavery.
See, there we go.
And things that happened after slavery.
Slavery never happened.
And I'd like you to stop for a second.
Here we go. Slavery never happened. Here we go. Slavery never happened.
For a second, because you interrupted a lot. So
we all natives.
Listen, it's totally different. And I can go directly against that compared to natives. When they got here.
That's that weed talking. That's that good Cali weed talking. That's what's talking. That good Cali weed.
When Christopher Columbus came here, he saw the natives, and the natives told him, "Yo, I got these weapons here."
You could tell, man, he on that. Boy, that boy is on that thing. That's that weed talking.
Where you get them from? Basically, I got them from niggas. Basically, I got them from black people. So basically, what I'm telling you is he got it from black people that was already here that was not African.
Okay, DeVar, we're gonna let you.
I want to be really clear. I want to be really clear. I want to be really clear that something terrible happened to African people in the United States. This is a reality. Something horrible happened. Something horrible happened.
Oh, you talking about slaves,
right? I'm talking about slavery and things that happened after slavery.
Slavery never happened.
See, slavery ain't never happened. So there we go.
And I'd like you to stop for.
So, and this is what's it called? This doesn't make any sense. So he started off that we ain't African because Africans sold us. To now, slavery ain't never happened.
Second, because you interrupted a lot. So let's be really clear that something horrible happened. There were some Africans that were involved, but I don't know why these Negroes, and I'm gonna call them Negroes for a second, are focused on the group of people who got the least benefit. Their societies were destroyed.
You're a Negro.
Their societies were destroyed. I don't see him rolled up in the Citibank saying, "What about the money that you took in my enslavement?" Because you're really comfortable. You're really comfortable. You're really comfortable arguing. You're really comfortable arguing. You're really comfortable arguing. You're really comfortable arguing with the people whose families were destroyed. And by the way, why do we never talk about the Africans who fought against enslavement?
All right, y'all. I'm gonna put the link in the chat room if you guys want to call in and add to the conversation. You're more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation. But this is a good show topic. We'll probably do it tomorrow. But again, if you want to call in and add to the convo, more than welcome to call in and go add to that convo. Go ahead, Elvis.
Yeah, Donis, thank you for having me on. Look, I just really want to listen today. I'm just going to say something short, but I just want to listen and try to understand. Hopefully we can get some indigenous on the platform. You know, I was listening to Kendra's last album, Kendrick Lamar. You know, I like the guy. I think he's a great rapper, but he's going through a lot of stages. You know, if you really listen to him on Damn, he was a Hebrew Israelite. You know, prior to that, he was a regular Christian. And then on the new album that he had, he said something about we are indigenous. I forgot the song that was on, but he was talking about he's indigenous also. So I don't know if Kendrick has been, you know, warping to that mindset and thinking like they're indigenous. And again, I want to understand it because I don't just want to blankly, you know, make a blanket statement and say that African Americans are not indigenous. But like you said, Dinus, there are a large group of African Americans in this country, maybe 80%, who don't look at themselves as indigenous. So are those 10 or 15% who see themselves as indigenous saying that the 80% is wrong and that their culture is not the real culture of the original people that was on this land, the practices and, you know, all of the things, like you were saying, all of the things that African Americans associate themselves with, is that native culture, or is that a different culture that they, you know, they kind of adopted over the years? I want to understand that. I think Mr. Invisible Man is on. I don't know if he's indigenous or African descent, but I will shut up and listen because I want to learn more today. Well, I'll pass the mic, guys.
All right, go ahead, Invisible. Yeah, go ahead, Invisible Man.
Okay, so let me say, last time the power went out where I am, so I left the discussion saying something that got some kickback on the panel, and I wasn't able to come back up. So now, my brother, when he did his DNA, showed just 1% indigenous. I don't show any.
Right.
So the family says we are. I don't. 1% is there.
You're not. You're not.
Yeah.
You're not.
So here's the other thing. When I went over in '99. My yellow card, they wrote on there 10 years. So I guess it expired, or I had to.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for 10 years. And go ahead, Memphis Man. Go ahead.
Okay, so then, I said this before. I don't buy into native blacks being here. When I was in Peru, they talked about Pangea, and then the continent, the entire landmass broke off, and they were part of that. But I have never heard.
Invisible Man, if I could I'm so sorry to interrupt. From my research, I don't think humans even existed during Pangea.
Yeah,
our most immediate ancestors didn't. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know either. But what I'm saying, what I was going to say is that I have never heard a black person that says they're indigenous even bring that argument up. And to me, that's the only argument that would have gotten you over here before the transatlantic slave trade. So the other thing I was going to say is that, look, I don't consider my family slaves. I consider that we were enslaved. Okay, so that's a play on words. We were enslaved, but my mind, my people, I mean, I don't look at it like that. So I say I was enslaved. My family was enslaved. I just don't say I'm a slave. So that I can't. That's disputable. You can that's whether you want to use tomato or tomato. So that's where I am, Elvis. I don't know what else you were asking, but no, I don't look at me. Oh, this is the final thing. So indigenous to this land. This is the other thing that I sometimes hear, but it hasn't been quite definitive. If black people in America are saying the reason they're indigenous is because they were here prior to 1776, the time that this country was formed, then I can buy that. But to be equivalent to the Native Americans of this land, that's where I disagree. If their argument is, yeah, you know what, black people were here before the country was formed, therefore I'm indigenous, then I can accept that argument. But I haven't heard them say that either.
All right, let me pass the mic to Africa.
Yeah, greetings, brother Dynas, panel and the chat. But before I go, last time I was here, I did forward one of the videos to someone that listened to it properly because it was crackling when the sister came on. I just want to make sure if she'd listened to come back and clarify that I, trying to attack or said to attack other people online or another ethnic group
Your
online.
mic is kind of muffled. The mic is bad. You might have to adjust it.
No, it sounds good, but Africa, you don't have to like give the disclaimer.
Okay. Okay, right, no problem. So yeah, I mean, the number one, what I know is number one. Yeah, most people I see that tend to deny the African descent. These are the people that look African the most. I actually, I'm saying this personally from my personal experience. Look, we live in a day and age where nativism is actually back, kicking alive. And this is the time I'm hearing African Americans or, you know, people of African descent are actually fighting, you know, over nativism in a land that do not see them really as native, even though the people that live there. I mean, even in the UK, that where we live today, these people know. I would say the Cheddar Man himself that was found here, who is the oldest living being here. Okay, he's a dark skin color man. But today, the people of or the people that you find in England today will not consider a dark skinned person or an African person, you know, as a native to this country. We have, I'll give a good example. We have the World Cup that's playing today as we speak, right? We have England doing really well because of our number one striker who play 10 for England. He's doing really well. He managed to progress through Mexico. He managed to progress us to the when we played against Norway. But right now, the whole conversation is about his color skin, whether he's English native or not. This is what these guys in America are not understanding, that no matter how much you see yourself as Native American or, you know, some type of, you know, nativity, whatever you're trying to claim in that land, the people who are in control of it will never see you the same. So it's about time people wake up, because I notice the people that tend to claim to be non-Africans are the ones that look more African, and that might be something that we need to start looking into. Um, so, I mean, when you talk about the existence of Africans in that region, you know, sometimes we need to go back to the days of the Moors or the Almoravid Empire days, because these are the people who the Spanish were the people who actually introduced a lot of these and the Vikings who introduced a lot of these sailing ships and boats. I live not far from, you know, a dock where there are a lot of historical ships, where the early boats and ships that was used, you know, to travel around the world. You know, these are the same ships they used later on to transport slaves. The Spanish people were very masterclass in these things, and people of color, you know, some of the people of West African descent and the Almoravid or the Moors or the Spanish, you know, basically you probably would add these Portuguese into that now, because the Portuguese and the Spanish were the same people. These people already had explored the world together, and if you look, most of these people who taught them how to explore the world were people of brown skin color, not really lighter skin white. They were brown skin white and some black in there. This is way before the transatlantic slavery. So the black people have been moving around the world in a different points, but to claim that you are a native to America, that's a lie. And I can every African American who left Africa, I can 100% assure them they're Niger Congo people. Their father is H1B1 and also M2, their father's side of their bloodline. Unless if they have another different admixture over the years, yeah. But most people who left West Central Africa are Niger Congo people, and their lineage is that. And their language, family came from that also. Just be proud of it. Come back to Africa and learn from it. And the sister that said that she landed in Ghana without, with an American passport, and they asked her to prove that. I don't know how she managed to get a boarding pass to a country that
Yeah,
doesn't allow.
she's not telling the truth.
No, I mean, because the boarding pass will not allow her to board to start with. But most countries in Africa, definitely, if you have a American passport, even if you're African descent or African American, they will treat you the same anyway. All they can see is money. That's it. I pass the mic for now. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Bibla. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Skywalker.
Yeah, Dynas, I think that this question, in order to really answer this question genuinely and to really analyze this question, we got to talk about the cause rather than necessarily the effects, right? And the cause is always going to go back to the way African Americans are being educated. African Americans hate Africa for the most part. I mean, I ain't gonna say we hate it, but we negate Africa. We don't even associate ourselves with with Africa as a result of not ever being educated about Africa. We've never been educated about systematically educated rather about the historical events of Africa, about the people of Africa. We've never been educated into African languages. We learn Spanish or in here, like or French if you're in a private school or something like that, right? Other alongside English if you want to choose a foreign language. Never ever are African languages offered. So African Americans, they struggle with an identity crisis. You know, they want to latch on to fictional people, Hebrews, or they create their own mythology, the Nation of Islam, the Shabazz, you know, or they're Indians, you know, and no matter sometimes, no matter how precise your argument is, trying to bring them back into reality, and to perhaps even offer a bit of therapy for them in many ways, they always find a way to negate it. Like, for instance, think about languages, right? Right now, in Africa, all of those countries were colonized. They had, alien governments implemented, and they had to speak alien languages. But most of those countries, the people there still held on to their language, despite being colonized, right? Even here, the Indians, the real ones, the ones that live in Oklahoma or on those reservations, they still held on to their language. Why is it, if you're supposed to be indigenous, why is it that those Indians somehow still know the language, but you don't know the language at all, right? Because you never spoke that language, because you were completely divided from your language. And right now, the very way you treat English, you are constantly trying, in many ways, to turn English into an African language. Anybody who speaks the African language and also speaks English and has dwelled among African Americans could identify that off the muscle. We use reduplication all the time when we want to emphasize something. I know down south we pronounce the AN sound like ein, the same way they pronounce it in Ghana when you speak cheap. I mean, it's numerous. Sometimes even the way that we organize the noun and the adjective, or sometimes the way we put the demonstrative in a sentence. If you understand basic grammar, you will understand that that's obviously not the proper way to do it in English. It's just you're trying to make English work the way an African language works, but you speak in an African language. So, like, man, and that's just one, example that you could, show to them. Like, bro, you have nothing to do with no Indians here in America. You can just face the fact that your people were brought over here as slaves, right? But before your people were brought over as slaves, they enjoyed a very illustrious and unparalleled civilization. And you enjoy great genetics. You are literally the natives of the most, resource-rich place in the world. If there was an actual place in the world called Israel, it would be Africa, because that's the land that was promised to Black people, because that's where they emerged. That's not where they came. So Black people, African Americans, suffer from a identity crisis that is rooted in a Eurocentric curriculum, where most of, and I say this over and over again, because all of the problems, I mean, that's the root cause. And you got, and Dinah's listening to that video you posted, that you were just sharing with us. I mean, it was so terrible to listen to that, right? Because I mean, this guy kept getting interrupted, and you can't teach a fool anything because they already know everything. And this man just kept, over talking the guy that was actually reasonable there. And then you had the other guy, like you said, there was going off perks and Zans. There wasn't no weed, Dinah's. He was going off some perks or some syrup or something. You know what I mean? And it's probably some alcohol. But either way it goes, African Americans suffer from an identity crisis. And Ivan Van, they always want to quote Ivan Van Sertima. Anybody who's been in any type of college with respect to Egyptology and all kind would know that Ivan Van is numerous articles. You know what I mean? Undermining Ivan Van Sertima. And that's just one theory that they always want to quote out. Oh, they came before Columbus. They was here. We was already here, and all that crap. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah. But I'll land right there.
All right, go ahead, Big Black. Let me read the super chat real quick. All gas, no brakes. 1, 2, 3. Thank you for 4.99. Holla. Not all white people agree with Jim Crow or slavery. Just like only a few African tribes. So stop blaming all. Okay. All right, go ahead, Big Black.
This is a whole new internet phenomenon. I agree with some things last guy that spoke said, but for the most part, all the way up until 2010, most black people knew that they were from, know that they were from Africa. Um, what's going on is with the internet age, right? And you have the internet age, and not all, but some continental Africans, they kind of act uh, uppity. Not all, but some. So what's been going on is, in me personally, when I look at it, I know that's not all African. Continental Africans don't think like that. I understand what a lot of continental Africans went through, as far as like the colonialism, and we went through slavery. So there's side effects with that, all within itself, right? Um, but as that started happening, you had this Indian movement that's actually now this
Hey, Big Black, you got like the TV playing in the background or something going on, or you had a
Yeah.
you actually
You hear a TV?
I hear something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite chaotic at the back actually.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Is that better?
Go ahead. We'll just roll with it. Go ahead.
Oh man. So right now, what you have is you have these African Americans. Half of them that say they're Indian don't believe that they're Indian. Believe it or not, they're just doing that because they feel like they're Africans don't respect them. Continental Africans don't respect them. So half of them don't believe that, and you can see that in how the movie played out when Truth Nasheed came out with the FBA movement. If you notice, most of the guys that were saying that they were Indian went to FBA. Now FBA says that, hey, we have some Indian in them, but we also have some African in us, and we have the Aboriginal thing. It's like we're made up of three different ethnic groups. That's what they say, right? Which I don't believe. But notice that the ones that said that no, we have Indian in them, now they're going over to FBA, which is leaving the Indian movement dying out. So it's just a rejection of wanting to be totally African, right? To want to be an African people. So I think this is a tragedy, but we could fix that. We could fix that with more continental Africans speaking out and rejecting xenophobia from some continental Africans and vice versa.
I
Black
agree.
people globally. You know what I mean? So I think we can fix that. But as far as black people, if we had this so-called identity crisis, the biggest movement, which is that we had in America, which is the Marcus Garvey movement, that wouldn't have happened. Marcus Garvey came here and he was preaching pretty much that we are from Africa, and that was the biggest black movement that came out of America. So we all know that with the internet, you get likes, you can get views, and you can become a person that sways a crowd. It was just easier than back in the day when you didn't have the internet and you had to really use your charisma. At the same time, you have to use a lot of facts to state your claims. But I'll pass the mic.
All right, go ahead, Castro.
Peace to everybody on the panel. Can you hear me okay, Dynasty?
Yeah, is it raining in the background, or is that just your Obama phone that's staticky?
How about now?
Okay, go ahead. Just go ahead. We'll work with it. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I think this is a good topic. Do I believe that African Americans are indigenous to America or the American landmass, the continent? No. However, I do believe that Black people are indigenous to it. Not about belief, but it's been proven with archaeological evidence that indeed Black people are indigenous to the Americas, not Native Americans. So like,
where's the archaeological evidence?
oh, okay, the cave art in Brazil that's been dated using different dating methods, but the general estimate of this cave art in Brazil is about 25,000 years. Now that predates the Bering Land Bridge about 10,000 years. So you can look that up.
Do me a favor. No, do me a favor. Put it in the chat room.
I'll put it in the chat room.
In the
as
real
soon as
chat.
as soon as I'm done with my point, I'll put it in the chat room. However, these were not black people like us. These are more like indigenous, Aboriginal Australians and like South Pacific Islanders. The people who were all through those islands in the South Pacific, they made it across the Pacific Ocean as well and populated Brazil. So when Native Americans crossed the land bridge, they already made contact with people who had already been here. Those were the Aboriginals, and through war and stuff, they pushed them out and they pushed them further south until their small population was absorbed through the larger population that's crossing over through this land bridge. It's much easier to cross over through land than it is for a few people to, go across a big ocean, in a small vessel. But I do believe that black people are indigenous all over the planet, just not our black ass. We got off a slave ship, and I'm proud of that. And I won't back down or shy away from that history. Nobody can make me feel that I'm not African. I have continental Africans that have called me a fake African before, but they'll look at somebody like Dricus du Plessis or Ali Kamaru Usman's manager and call them African. Dricus is a Boer from South Africa, and Ali is from Egypt. He's a sand person from Egypt. They'll call these people African, but they'll look at me and call me fake African because I don't have what you call African language. But I do consider Ebonics an African language, like the brother was saying before me. We're trying to speak English in an African form. That's all Ebonics is. So I do consider that a form of African language, just like Patois or Creole or Pidgin, wherever you go, that's considered African language. So is ours. So I'll just land my plane there. I do not believe that we are indigenous here. However, black people are indigenous on the planet, period, everywhere, every landmass, except Antarctica. I think white folks actually made it there first. So I ain't claiming that. And
all right, go ahead. Go ahead, Pharaoh.
Yeah, peace. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yes. Peace, Dinus. Peace to the panel. Concerning the subject. Now, looking at that video, it goes to show you that these fake Native American abo pretendians say the most dumbest and ridiculous things. Okay. Now he sit up there and said that slavery never happened. Okay, and the best proof that debunks that is slavery is still going on. Okay, but today the only difference is today the slaves are getting paid and are getting paid paychecks and are on the payroll, but slavery is still going on.
Slavery's not going on.
It's not as bad. It's not as bad as it used to be, and that's why our people have to stop following the false teachings of people like Dan Calloway, okay, who says that Africans never came over here, okay, but the best proof to debunk that is Africans are still coming over here to America. They're still arriving in America. So you're trying to tell me that 100 years from now, these Africans who just got here, they're going to claim to be Native Americans too, because they arrived here by plane, okay, and our ancestors arrived here by ships. What's the difference? We still came from Africa. So these claims are ridiculous, okay. And when it comes to our real history, okay, history of Black African Americans from Africa, okay, our story goes way back. It's older than the English and goes beyond the English. It goes back to the times of the Greeks and Romans during the 1st century BCE. Okay, the Native American abos, pretendians, they can't go back that far. They have to make up pseudo history and write it in English. Yeah, but our history, the slaves, it goes back further than the English and the Atlantic slave trade.
Okay, and if you're gonna sit up here and tell me that the slave trade never happened, okay, Christopher Columbus never happened, it was a myth, then that means the European arrival in America never happened. The European discovery in America never happened. The conversion to Christianity never happened, because all that is connected to the Atlantic slave trade. It's all connected. It was going on in Africa. Way before Christopher Columbus, the Portuguese had knowledge of Africa. Way before Christopher Columbus discovered America. Okay, the Portuguese had knowledge of Africa. The Romans had knowledge of Africa. The Greeks had knowledge of Africa. So our story goes way further back than some Native American, some made up Native American nonsense. Okay, and it's like these fake pretendians, they are trying to steal the Black movement. They are trying to steal what's primary and what's original. Okay, they're trying to steal it, falsify it, and make it their own. And the best way to refute this madness is to always go to the primary source. You go to the primary source. Forget about your bias. You use the original words that was used in the primary source, such as Negro, or there's a reason why we would call Negroes, because that words goes all the way back to the ancient Greek and Roman. It goes beyond the English. But we have to use these words to destroy these arguments. Okay, and that's why I ask anyone I debate, if you're claiming something, show me your oldest source. Okay, and that's why I asked it, because we don't even have to argue with these people if we just stick to the original primary sources, because they have none. Okay, and that's where they're going to stumble and fall at when you ask them, where is your oldest primary source? Because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to steal what was written in the oldest primary source, falsify it, relabel it, and make it their own. Yeah, and this movement is fake, it's false, and Black people need to let it go and stop making up lies, and do some real research, and reject the false teachings of these false cult leaders. Yeah, and I'll land my plane there.
All right, go ahead, Amar. Let me pass the mic to Amar first. Go ahead, Amar.
How y'all doing today? How's everybody doing?
Doing well.
Yeah, we good.
I think the invisible man or information man, if that's what the guy that spoke earlier, said one key word, which sent me down memory lane. You know, I was talking to a Jamaican lady the other day, and she was telling me about their perspective about Africa. It's like a bad dream. It's nothing to be proud of besides the history. You know, the word information man or invisible man, what the dude said, the word enslaved, like you wouldn't consider my people enslaved, but I don't consider my people slaves. So the whole context of the thing is not pride. Pick anything else Black people excel at. Africa is a bad dream. The connection to Africa and what made you with Africa is all a bad dream. So I could see if people trying to move on, or they're trying to heal themselves, or if I would say low self-esteem, but if you're trying to motivate yourself that you can excel, the number one thing you need to do is to cut out every negativity about you, your being, your identity, everything. Just stick to what is you're proud of, and what will motivate you to the next level. So to me, when people say stuff like that, because this same Jamaican lady told me that her number one problem, she says she's been all around the world, she's well traveled. And she says it's not only them Jamaicans and Haitians, but she done been in a place where African Americans were talking about the same thing. Then the Caribbeans were talking about the same thing. Everybody else As soon as they see somebody of that color, the first thing they say, you're from Africa. They gotta go back and engage with them in an argument back and forth. Like, hey, with African Americans, we've been over there 400 years. Jamaicans talk about their own identity too. Haitians talk about their identity. It's like Africa, the African thing, it swallows up everybody's identity. So, but the fact that it's not something you should be proud of, they're going all out their way to let you know that hey, we got our own people, we got our own identity. So the whole word, what information man or invisible, I don't know what his name is. He said that's one key word he said. I don't consider my people slaves as a personality, like somebody that is beneath other people, but the process of what they went through, the experience is being enslaved. So to me that's trauma, psychological trauma that people are going through. If you want to move to the next level, you gotta cut out all the bad things about your identity or your past. I think that he just said that word that threw me the memory lane.
He's right. Enslavement is temporal. Slave is inherent.
Exactly, like you, the person. That's all you do. You are born like that. You can do nothing else but being a slave. It's like, no, it's an unfortunate thing that happened to me, but I'm better than that.
Right.
I'm way better than that, and I'm going all above and beyond to prove. And that's the problem. The Jamaican lady was saying, as soon as she stepped any airport anywhere, you are from Africa. It's be like, hey, it's other people that's black over here. Okay. All y'all know, and she said, all the type of people, Europeans, Chinese, Asians, everybody else, the first thing come out of their mouth. You're African? No. There's other type of people. So that's the thing. So it was getting close to Africa. It's going to swallow up Black American identity. It's going to suck up Caribbean identity. You don't have an identity. It's like your experience. It's like the people in Sierra Leone. I'm telling you, Sierra Leone. That's where my people come from. My family was one of the ruling families out there that sold land for them to have a place called Freetown, Sierra Leone. And those people up to today, they've been in Africa for 200 years. You see what I'm saying? They refuse to get close. They'll be like, oh, these guys are going to swallow. They're going to suck us in. That's how Africa is, a big old vacuum cleaner. It just suck everybody else that's black, their identity. And then you don't see, they become invisible. It'll be like, whoa, something happened to me. I went through an experience. You know, just don't talk about Africa. Whoa. Stop right there. We went through something. Recognize that too. But I think that's what a battle is. And to me, African American or Caribbean or whatever, if you think Africa is sucking you up, that's why you're rejecting it. If that helps you, do it. Go ahead. You see what I'm trying to say? If you want to excel and you think Africa is a bad dream, you're going to cut out all the negativity. And for you to prove that you can be better, do whatever you got to do. That's what I'm trying to say, because this is traumatic. This is something, you need to study. We back in the day, the older generation of people, they studied them things. You see what I'm saying? Even when
all right, you got 30 seconds. Got to pass the mic.
Okay, right now black people got more rights than the people back in the day. But people back in the day, they ran experiments. The black people back in the day, Black American, they ran all these traumatic experiences and cataloged them, dated them, and recorded them. That's all I got to say.
Hey, Dinus, can I respond to Pharaoh?
Well, let me do this. Let me. There's people that are waiting, so
Okay.
let me read the super chats first. East Coast Kev, thank you for $10 holla. I still want to know what changed. We're always paid homage to Africa, especially our music. I grew up in the 90s. Our rap groups always talked about Africa. FBA really means fear of being African. All gas, no brakes. Thank you for the. That's a show topic. Hold on, I'm gonna do a show on it. Right here. All gas, no brakes. Thank you for $49 holla. I don't understand how these people defend the teachings of Tariq and Dan Calloway when those people never publicly defend their research or debate. Oh, that's a point. That's a good point. All right, go ahead. G-Day. Go ahead, G-Day.
See, I put that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Greetings to you, Omoba, and everyone on the platform. And I've listened to a lot of people, and I really appreciate their contribution to this topic. First of all, I want to actually clarify on certain, I don't know if I'll call it misconception, or I would say it is misunderstanding of some of the things I've heard. Because I'm kind of like I'm more of like an historian, or I'm a student of history, basically, and I learn a lot when it comes to history. I'm always very curious, just like every one of us here, respectfully. So the thing is, what is the idea of why are Afro-descendant people called Black? Probably a lot of us know that, like, historically, the term Black that has been used to associate with Afro-descendant people. So when the word Black is not just phenotype of dark skin, it is specifically used to identify people that are linked to the transatlantic slave trade. I need to really clarify that, because when we use the word Black, I noticed that a lot of us, I used to do that too before. Like, we used to use the word Black with, people from Australia, people from sometimes even Native Americans. You hear some Afro-descendant people saying that they are also Black. No, the term Black itself stemmed from Afro-descendant people that are directly linked to the transatlantic slave trade. And I would quickly, because of time, I would briefly summarize the history. When the Portuguese arrived in shores of West Africa and Congo, and they captured the first slave, they realized, I think one of the panelists said that the Europeans have associated with Africa before even the transatlantic slave trade, right? So they realized.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah. Thank you. So they realized that this African slave is darker than a lot of the Africans that they are mostly associated with, and they were the Moors of North Africa. I know they were the Senegalese also that they are associated with. So because of that, they termed the word Negro. That these people are darker than the Moors. These are historical facts now. That's where the word Black comes from. So that was how they used it to identify with African people that were enslaved, and African people that they were about to be enslaved in those regions that they went to capture people. So the point I'm making is that if you are Black, you're Afro-descendant. It's an historical fact, right? It's not a matter of emotions. It's not a matter of denial. I know there's a lot of emotional trauma that a lot of us are dealing with when it comes to colonialism and slave trade. I'm not underestimating the power of the trauma that a lot of us are dealing with, with all due respect. But the fact is, if you are termed Black because of you have African features, then you are of Afro descendants. That's number one. The other connotation of why people were also referred to as Black stem from when we were enslaved as well. Because when the Europeans, the British, the Anglo-Saxons, and the Spanish, the Anglo-Saxons and the Spanish, when they enslaved us, they believed they were coming from a dark place, that we're pagans. We were worshiping, we had our own religions and we're backward. And we are coming from a dark continent. We are coming from a backward and evil place. And we have to be whitened. The idea of being whitened, we have to be Christianized. They are the white ones. They are the chosen ones. I'm talking from a Christian perspective, the puritanical aspect of Christianity, which was used to destroy African people's culture in the United States and many parts of the Americas, in as much as it was even more aggressive in the United States because it was more puritanical, So that's why you have remnants of African culture in Black American culture, but not exactly African culture, but you have those remnants. The Black culture in America is a byproduct of the remnants of African culture, particularly from West and Central Africa. So I need to really lay that out. So this idea of delineation, I really want to address it because of the short time I have. There's more I would say as time goes on when it's my turn again. But the point is, there has been a deliberate effort by the elites of the United States and by intelligence institutions, powerful intelligence institutions, to completely cut off African Americans from their African ancestry. It has been going on for years. This is not the first time. The World FBA movement is part of that effort, particularly from the right-wing conservative side of things. You would see that they are more even accommodating of that narrative. You know, the idea of this thing has been going on for centuries. Like I said, talk about the fact that they cut them off from their African ancestry.
Hey, 30 seconds, I got to pass the mic.
Okay, 30 seconds. I don't have a lot of time. Okay. But the summary, so my final point is being Black is being Afro-descendants. And at the end of the day, delineation is not going to solve the problem. And all this delineation is a product of colonialism and slavery. I'll just stop there for now. When I talk again, I will explain more details into some of the things I've had so far, more things I'll talk about. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead. Happy Zone, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Let me know if my mic is good, bro.
It's okay. It sounds like you're in your car or something, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm driving, but I just as long as you can hear me, it's all good. But yeah, my whole point, I just wanted to jump in and say, I've been hearing the discussion, and I think it's kind of funny, like personally for me, I was never affected by the I was never affected by the slavery or anything like that. Like nothing happened to my people or anything like that.
Oh, okay. Who are your people?
Who are my people, you said?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm from Sudan.
Okay.
So like transatlantic slave trade that really didn't affect me like that. But like I have, been seeing this little banter online. It's kind of funny to me because I'm just like, it's like literally West Africans fighting against the descendants of their, themselves, and I find it very like a funny. It's like a funny thing to me because I'm like the same thing that you guys are fighting about, the same thing that happens like between many different tribes in Africa, just in their own language. We don't really hear it, but there's people in Eritrea fighting other Eritreans. Kind of the same thing, like, we were here first, you guys were here, like the same thing, I just kind of find it funny. But personally, I feel like the best way people need to move forward is basically to, identify what makes you feel happy, like I feel like Black people as a whole are not, have never been cohesive in a way. Black people have always been like individualized or tribalized. If I have my tribe, I'm happy with it, I'm good with it. But I feel like in the social construct of America, there's no such thing as tribalism, but like this is kind of reviving it in a way, which is, it could be a benefit or it could be a negative, I really don't know. But I personally, that's the one thing I would say. I just feel like people should identify what makes them feel happy. Like obviously, between other Black people, we know who's, we know who each other are. Hey, that's a Jamaican guy. Oh, that's a African American guy. But to the whole world, like they just look at us like the way we look at Asians. Those are Chinese, and we're just the Black people. So like, it's not much we think about that. So yeah, that's my 2 piece.
Okay. Skywalker, you wanted to ask a question?
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, I wanted to expound, not really respond, but expound first on what Pharaoh just said and kind of what the young brother just said. I actually, when Pharaoh said that we were all slaves, Diners, you said, no, we're not slaves. Now, you're right. We're not slaves, but we have been reduced to involuntary servitude, which is also illegal.
No. Let me tell you what I meant. So when we get into this corporate America slavery, I completely disagree. So when you say that we're slaves currently in this day of time here in America, not speaking for Mauritania and countries like that, I completely disagree.
Well, yeah, and see, that's what I mean. Like it's slavery is conscious servitude. It's a servitude that somebody is completely aware that they are under. Meaning that they're serving somebody and they know that they are serving them, right? Like if we can I finish, bro? If we go to prison, for instance, we wouldn't see two inmates arguing whether or not they were prisoners, right? Because they are completely aware. Their reality shows it to them. They are completely, their reality and their mindset is completely aware with that they are in a status consistent with being a slave, right? Now, involuntary servitude is something completely different. That's why the people who made the 13th Amendment said that slavery is prohibited and involuntary servitude, because they were aware that it's possible to reduce people's conduct to a state of service that in other words, to reduce their conduct such that all of their conduct still serves the interest of another people without them even being aware of it, right? You see what I'm saying? And so that's why involuntary servitude is something different. The word involuntary under the law means that you're completely unaware. It's synonymous with hypnotism or sleepwalking or having a seizure. Those are classic examples of in cases of involuntary servitude. So we got to realize.
Give me 20 seconds after him, please.
Okay. So servitude, involuntary servitude is when you in the process of serving somebody, and you think it's natural. You think it's your every way, every day. You think it's normal for you to act that way. When really it's not. It's not normal for people who have been enslaved by people to go get college degrees to help those same people who've enslaved them and continue to brutalize them in very different ways. To make weapons, to make things to perpetuate that. You would have to be out of your mind to do something like that. You would have to have been educated such that you can't even see what's right in front of you to do something like that. And that's Amos Wilson's main point. If you ever read Blueprint to Black Power, he says Black people have been reduced to a situation where they believe that their conduct is voluntary, right? So we are suffering from an illegal imposition from our states of involuntary servitude, and that involuntary servitude is fueled by us being educated in an intensely Eurocentric environment and curriculum. And I'll land there.
Hey, I'll wait my turn.
Yeah, let me get 20 seconds.
I just want to say real quick.
Oh, no, hold on, brother. I asked respectfully. I've been quiet. Dennis, let me say this, right? You know this, Dennis. If you work for corporate America, really, you're a trader, meaning TRADER, right? You're trading your time for currency. You're not a slave. Involuntary basically means if you're forced into slavery, because you can trade your labor for something else. You can get into servitude by borrowing money and paying it off by, sharecropping or doing something on somebody's land. So involuntary means that
is not what involuntary means under the law, bro. I'm a lawyer. That is not what involuntary means under the law.
Second, brother.
Involuntary means.
Oh my gosh, I hear you, bro. I actually have to speak after you, right? So the point that Dennis was making, another brother was making, is that Black people today in America are still enslaved, because they're working for the white man, they're part of the system, they're adhering to other things. That's what he was implying. And Dennis was saying he disagreed with that, and that's facts. Where every time you go for a job, you apply, you willingly and willfully go and apply for a job. You sell your time to the corporation or whatever, to get currency in exchange for your time. So it's not slavery. It's almost the opposite of slavery. But I passed the mic. You can rebuttal if you want.
Okay, Evans, let me reply to this.
Can I say something? Wait. Let me, because Amara said
no,
something.
It's Invisible Man. Then after me.
All right. So I don't exactly know whether I should agree or disagree with him, because I didn't know exactly what he said. When I said, I am not going to call myself a slave, but my people were enslaved. I'm not denying any part of Africa. I said this before. I accept everything of which I am 2 shows ago, right? So I don't know if he was there. I don't hate Africa. I also said that you need to forgive. And when you forgive, then that allows you freedom to grow. So if he was saying, which he said, is that, I was saying I was enslaved in order for me and my family and my people to grow, then yes. And so let me add on top of that, I think somebody said something about an ethnogenesis. An ethnogenesis is when a group of people decide for themselves to create a new ethnic group. That is what Black Americans have done. But even more important to me on top of that is that we went through an epigenetic process. That epigenetic process is when the gene itself can change, right? And that can occur between weeks and years. And we've got 500 years of change of being in this land versus being in that land. And that epigenetic started the minute we were traumatically, you can say that the white man did it all or the African did it all. I don't care how you say it, but we were put onto some ships. We were chained for months and to endure a voyage. When we got here, I don't know if Africans experienced this, but we were whipped. And the reason I bring that up, and I'm going to leave it at this, is that whipping was passed down generation to generation to generation. I got my ass whipped by my father, black and blue, and I think he got it from his father, from his father, from his father. I said,
Generational trauma.
I will
Kids in Africa get whipped, and their parents was never enslaved.
Okay.
No.
I was asking you, but hold on. So I whacked my daughter, and I said I will never. What her look said to me was that the feeling I got when I got whipped, and when I say I got whipped, I got whelps. I got colors that lasted for weeks on my ass, right? And all I could think was, I want to fuck somebody up. I hate my father, and I want to kick his ass too, right? And if you don't think Black people in America suffered an epigenetic occurrence, then you have something else. You need to really think about the process that we went through and we endured in this country, right? And so, yes, if I say I was enslaved, maybe it is to help me get over past traumatic experiences, but I have not denied that I am part African. And I take offense to Amara coming on here trying to tell me I'm denying who I am and I got some psychological problem. Brother, I don't have a psychological problem. I have been to 5 African countries. I have friends that are African. All right, so don't tell.
All right, 30 seconds. I gotta pass the mic.
Don't tell Americans who we are. We went through a process. And we can call it an ethnogenesis based on epigenetics if we want. And if they want to call themselves FBA, if they want to call themselves something else, then they're going through a process too.
All right, let me pass the mic. Go ahead, James Harlem.
Dinus, can I respond?
No, I got to pass the mic to the new person on the panel. Go ahead, James.
Okay.
How do you do, everyone on the panel? I appreciate being up and to be able to give some input. You might can see, or if you don't, I am a foundational Black American person. I'm fortunate to realize that that is a better identifier for me as a person whose ancestry goes past, but definitely since the foundation of this country known as America.
If I can interject, please. When you say goes past, can you expand on that a little bit?
When I say go past, there's evidence of Black people being in the America for thousands of years.
Okay,
before I go into details, can I just make my opening statements?
Do you identify as having African roots via the transatlantic slave trade?
I believe that Africa is the source of all humanity. How long we Black people on this hemisphere been here, I believe it's eons, but I do not believe it started. I do not believe that we came here. The majority of our population came here as a result of the transatlantic.
No, James,
slave
I'm asking. Do you believe do you believe your immediate ancestors came over via a slave ship to America?
No, I do not. I also believe that it would be impossible in the 16, 17, in those hundreds, that for Black people, how they told the story that millions of us came through the transatlantic slave trade. They did not have the resources. They did not have the transportation vessels. They had boats. They did not have steamships. They did not have ships. It would be impossible for them for hundreds of years to take human cargo, food, fresh water for months overseas, back and forth, to bring millions of us over here. Just on its bare face, it would have been impossible.
So then, like, I have just two more questions. I'll let you finish. So, like, for example, what was your indigenous like culture, religion, language before you came in contact with the Europeans, or before I guess you would consider the Indians that came via the Bering Strait? Like, what were your guys' customs? Like, what did you guys do?
Much of when I say our, I mean the people who are Black that were of the tribes before the European came here. Much of our history has been dispersed and still by many, including myself, unknown. However, what is known is that those Europeans, when they came here, they described the people that looked at like the people that they knew from their side of the hemisphere, their side of the world.
But they called they called them. That's why they called them Indians. He thought it was in India, so he called them Indians. So they were very familiar with Indians, not African. Over here. So are you descendant of an East Indian? Are you saying East Indian? Are you saying that East Indians were here before Columbus? Because they were very specific. They said that's why they called them Indians. So are you saying that the East Indians?
I'm not going to use their terminology as far as calling us Indians. What I will say is that Black people are the people who the originators of humanity were on this hemisphere before thousands of years before European even knew that.
Okay.
Do you have sources for it?
I'm talking. And then also too, if you're saying that there's no way millions of Black people could come here on boats, how did white people get here?
I did not say that we could not come on boats. I said the amount of boats that it would have took for the transatlantic slave trade to occur, the way that we was taught, because when I was in school, they said hundreds of millions of us died. Died during the transatlantic slave trade, but some of us made it over. But they was in the hundreds of millions back then. Now,
hundreds of millions of what?
Reasonable Black people were enslaved and brought over to America. This is what they were telling us.
I don't know what school you went to. No school said that hundreds of millions of Black people.
Okay, now they're being more, I would say, reasonable, or trying to use some sort of logic, saying it's tens of millions. But even then, if you were to do the math on what it would take for that to occur with people who did not have that kind of resources back then, there's no evidence. If they would have brought 10 million people over here, they would have took a certain amount of ships in order for them to do it. It would have took a certain amounts of men.
Okay, when you say over here, when you say over here, can you be specific?
Okay, for them to have transported millions of Black people from Africa to America, it would have took.
When you say America, are you saying just North America, or
the Americas? I would say that. It would have took at least thousands of ships, and to this day we cannot. There's no remnants of five. There's no remnants of 5 slave ships. There's no remnants of 5 slave boats that they can point to.
Okay, no, I got because I got to pass. So, but you do realize that, I mean, the slave trade was the duration of it was probably over a course of minimum 300 some years.
400.
400 years. So 400 years. So I mean, so I just, when you say thousands, when you say it'll take thousands of boats, like it wasn't like in one whop. Like this is over a course of 400 years.
And even then, those boats did not carry 200 and 300 people. Those initial and earlier boats would only bring maybe, I believe, 50. But you got to remember, we are talking about a voyage that takes 2 months.
Hold on,
So you got to have fresh food.
James,
Hold on. Let me finish.
no, but James, let me ask you, James, I'm the hostess. The host is talking. But James, have you
And
been?
the guest is listening.
I'm asking, have you been to Africa before?
No, I have not. I have
Okay,
not
let
seen
me tell you what, like in Africa. So, I went to Gambia, right, and from Senegal to get to mainland Banjul, the shortcut way, you have to take a boat, right? So it was literally like a damn near a glorified, I would say, oversized canoe, wooden boat. And so there was like 40 of us jammed up in this boat, a canoe that brought us from the port, the port, you would say, in Gambia, outside of Banjul to Banjul. I was scared to death because we were packed like sardines with all our luggage, right? And this is just a large canoe. So I get off the boat, and the guy was like, "Yeah, my brother, I told you you'll be okay. We take this same boat from Gambia to Italy." And I'm like, "What?" So just seeing what they could stuff in a canoe to make it to Italy, I don't put it past. If you have a boat,
how long did that trip take? How long would that trip take? One
from
day,
Gambia
right?
to Italy?
One day?
No, hell, no. On a canoe from Gambia to Italy one day? No, it'll probably take. It got to be 2 weeks. You have to go all the way up the west coast of Africa. Then you got to go to Italy, cut through the Mediterranean.
Okay.
So that's why I'm just.
They said that they take that same boat. Wait a minute. To be clear, you said they took that same boat to go to Italy. They did not say that boat was packed with all those people, the same amount of people that
Yes, they did. Jay. I caught the boat from like it was for me it was a 30-minute ride. I was scared to death. I said,
listen to what I just said.
I know this,
listen to what I said. You said that they told you that they take. Hold on, bro. I'm gonna try to make myself clear. You said that they take the same boat to Italy, but they did not say that they had the same amount of passengers for a week.
James, they told me they have more. They said they have more. They said this is nothing. We have more. We go all the way to Italy. I'm like, God damn. And
they have bigger boats back there.
That 30-minute boat ride, I was scared to death. I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna make it.
Yeah.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
I'm in the city where the Ancestry Britain is, and there's a lot of replica of those slave boats. I know exactly how they were, the size of them, everything. They have a boat festival, you know what they call regatta.
Well, where they at now?
In my city.
Where's the evidence of those boats?
The evidence of those boats, they come anytime they have every year.
Boats. Where are the remnants of all the boats that it would have took for the transatlantic slave trade to go on? Where's the remnants?
2 years ago, there's an exact replica of those boats that came to the festival, and I saw it myself. And they had even one that's even older than the slave boat, which was linked to the Armada. It came from Spain. That one that came from Spain for my city, and these were the ones that the Portuguese and the Spanish used when they used to explore the Americas. Okay,
so was that enough to make the transatlantic slave trade happen?
Brother, you spoke.
Was that enough to make
how long do you think a wooden boat lasts, brother? 1,000 years.
But James, where are the boats that brought white people over?
Exactly.
I mean,
I'm told him about the replica. He's still trying to argue.
I heard you after, but James, where are the boats that brought white people over?
I'm not sure what they did, but the amount of slave boats.
Jesus!
But hold on, my brother. Hold on. What I'm saying is the amount of boats that it would have took for the transatlantic slave trade to go on, they would still be remnants of it. And I'm not talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 of them left. Because if there's 5 of them left, there should have been
10,000 of them left. That's my point.
Hey, James, I wish I could find my dad's 1988 Oldsmobile Cutlass. Does that mean it never existed?
Exactly. And Dr., can I ask him a question? And what do you think? What do you think the technology? What do you think the technology for aircraft carriers and cruise boats evolved from? Right. I mean,
it may have evolved, but at the time of the transatlantic slave trade, they did not have that technology.
If you, I mean, we got aircraft carriers.
Hey, I can't. Y'all talking over each other. I can't hear.
Bro, we got aircraft carriers that hold, up to like 5,000. Sometimes
we
more
talking about back then, bro. Don't get it conflicted. We talking about back then.
What do you think the technology to make those boats developed from?
Wherever it came from, it wasn't there then. Wherever it came, wherever the technology came from to make what we have now, they didn't have it back then. That's what I'm saying. And we talking about 2 months on water. You got to shit. You got to piss. You got to have fresh water. You got to have fresh food, not only for the crew, but for the people. It's my turn to speak, Dinus. I think it was my turn after.
That's not true. They didn't give them fresh food. They didn't have toilets. They shot right where they sat. They pissed right where they sat. A lot of them died from diseases. That's why it was a horrible thing.
All right, I gotta pass the mic to the new. Well, Jay, I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish what you're gonna say. No one interrupt. Go ahead.
Okay, what I was going to say is that.
But 1 second. But James, 1 second. Give me 15 seconds. So everybody in the chat room that when I did the subject a couple of days ago on how I don't consider myself FBA anymore because FBA they're turning into an ALBO movement, and y'all were like, nah, we not no ALBOs. Well, here goes proof of an FBA ALBO. But go ahead, James.
Maybe after I finish, you can give me a full definition of what you think I am. But what I'm going to tell you who I am is I am a foundational Black American person. That is the lineage of which I'm from, and that is the term that I use to describe myself and my ancestry. I love Black people no matter where they're from. I don't care if they're Eskimos Black. I don't care if or what they come from. I love Black people. So I'm not a person who's going to think I'm better than you because of who I am and what my lineage is. I'm not that person. And most foundational Black American people are not like that. Now, there's a lot of people catching strays from people who are foundational Black American because it is something that is in its infancy stages. And for a long time, Black people have been catching strays from other immigrants, and particularly immigrants of our hue, about we not having no culture. I'm better than you. I'm a real African. You're not. And for a long time, we just took that. But today, now it's time for the bully to get his ass beat by some people. They feel that it's mandatory that they do that. Me, myself, I like to make it clear. I love everybody. And particularly, I love my people, which I consider Black people, no matter where you from, my people. But I am a foundational Black American person. My lineage is different from yours. That don't mean it's better, but that means it's different.
All right, let me pass the mic to Jen to the Don. No, I got new people on the panel. Jen to the Don. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jay into the Don. But yeah, I subscribed to your channel some years ago when I still believed that we all was from Africa, right? But the thing is, there's proof that we not all from Africa and that we was here before any slavery.
Jen, let me ask you a question. Where do you claim you're from?
I'm from America.
Okay,
My father's from Jamaica, which is in America also, and my mother's from America, the mainland.
All right,
the people that's in the islands got brought down there, and some people traveled down there because we used to be in South America. You know the walls in Bona and Pac, the murals. It's people that look like me. All those people was us.
I'm just trying to get clarity. So you believe
No, I
So
don't
you believe?
believe nothing. It's called genealogy. That's the facts. That's the records of our
Okay,
people being here. They
Jen, I'm trying.
mislabel
Okay, you're not
certain
gonna talk.
people
You're not
black.
gonna talk. You're not gonna talk over me. You're not gonna talk over me.
I'm
Do-
answering you because
but
you doing
I
that to
haven't
other
finished my
people. You
question.
tricking
I
people.
haven't finished my question. Let me finish
All
my
right.
question. So, do you believe you're Aboriginal American?
I don't believe I know I'm Aboriginal American. You know why? Do you ever heard of one of the reasons? You ever heard of Albert Perry?
Who's Albert Perry?
Albert Perry is a South Carolinian so-called black man, right? And
Mhm.
his Y DNA is older than the modern human, the genetic Y atom and modern
Can I
humans in
debunk that real
general.
quick?
And he's
Can I
I'm
debunk that real
talking.
quick?
I'm talking. You not debunking nothing because this is facts. His Y DNA is older. We're not talking about hominids. We're talking about actual humans. We're not talking about some fake monkey bones that they call in people. So all that Neanderthal, Denisovan, those are genetic mutations that come from inbreeding. When you're isolated in a certain area, that's where the
Right.
bone deformations and all that come from.
You do
These other
realize you do.
people are genetic
I'm
mutations
the
of
host is
us.
talking. The host is talking. You do realize that Albert Perry was born into slavery.
He was born into slavery. We prisoners of war. There's something called prisoners of war that we was in this country. It's not born into slavery doesn't mean you come from Africa. If you was a so-called Indian and you're black and you don't want to leave your land, you have to be classified as black or African or else
Oh,
or African American. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to keep your land because they's giving it to these Asian people, Siberians that y'all calling Native Americans. Native just means born, not indigenous. And also, the bones in the Pleistocene show morphology of people that look like what you would call black people, not these so-called Asian people. They did not exist at the time that they say that they was over here originally to be the first people. So it's not possible for them to be the first people. It's impossible. The timeline, this is the first land out the water. This is the first land where all the food came from. And this is the first land where all the animals came from. And the
How
first
did you
people was
verify all this?
melanated. What do you mean? It's called research. You could do it too. There's many channels that have
Can
all
I
this
respond to him,
information
bro?
I'm talking about. You can
Can I
respond.
respond to him? First of all, the story by Albert, I thought that was very fascinating. I did try to also research that, and I did the host said he was born into slavery, and on top of that, there's a tribe in Cameroon that has the same genetic
Yeah,
Y
yeah.
chromosome as
Oh.
him. And hold
Oh
on,
nah, I got you. Cause you
hold on,
trying
hold
to
on,
be
hold on, hold on,
slick.
hold on, hold on.
You're not
I'm
gonna
not, no,
tell
no.
them how the percentage is less than how many
Hold
people
on,
the
hold on,
frequency
hold
over
on,
here.
hold on,
You're not gonna
hold
say
on,
that?
hold
You
on, hold
leaving
on.
that
Let me just say,
out.
Please let him
okay,
speak
okay.
now.
You
Ah,
leaving that out, bro. Y'all been trying to
Okay,
like hustle people on
okay,
here
hold on, hold
talking
on,
that
hold on.
nonsense.
I'm
Well,
not,
where you
no,
from?
let
And where
Apizon
you
it's
from?
okay.
speak.
Hold
Let
on, hold
Where
on, hold
you
on, hold
Apizon.
on.
from? Where you from? Because you
Bro,
don't
just
speak
let me
for
just
my
finish.
people. If you're not from here,
Nigga,
you
I'm
don't
just
speak for
speaking
my
for
people.
myself. I'm speaking for myself. Damn, can I speak?
Yeah, but yeah, I'm reading that too. So that gene or whatever is common with Africa from the ethnic group from Cameroon.
The highest
Yeah,
frequency is not in
it's called the
Cameroon. It's like
they're called
6.3 to
the Mu tribe or
6.7%.
something like that.
It's
Yeah,
Embo. Embo. Yeah, that's not the highest
Yeah.
frequency that has it. They not the people with
They're
the
not even the
highest
only ones.
frequency.
They're not even the only
They're
ones.
not the
Even in
highest
Congo, they have it.
frequency. And you sound Spanish. Like, where are you from?
All
Where are
right,
you
can I
Ernest,
finish?
this
from?
guy is
Let me
interrupting.
just
Let the
You
other
finish.
guy speak,
from?
please.
Where are you
You got to mute
from?
him, Darius.
Cause
Let the other guy speak.
y'all talking lies, but you trying to be slick.
I'm from
Where are you
Atlantis.
from? You from Atlantis? Yeah, America is Atlantis Insula. So you being
All right,
funny.
but no, but
Yeah,
let me just
it's
finish.
on
I was gonna
maps,
say,
just like
I was gonna
India
say,
No,
Let him speak,
happy
bro.
zone.
let me just.
Let the Don finish. Go ahead. So Don, do you
Yeah.
identify as FBA?
No, the reason why I don't subscribe to FBA because FBA, all that means is that you just came from some slavery shit, which is not proven. You going by what you was told in school, like
Well, but your
everybody
boy
else.
was in slavery. Your example, Albert, he was born in slavery.
Being enslaved does not mean you come from Africa. I explained to you how they was designating people that was so-called black in America, that if you don't go on the so-called Trail of Tears to Oklahoma and you still keep your land, you get classified as black or African or African American or
That's a
Negro
bad
or things
definition of
like that.
FBA.
That's not true.
Yes, it is
That's a bad
true.
definition
It's
of
called
FBA.
genealogy.
The
You can
reason
use it
why
on fact. Y'all trying to freestyle. Don't try that shit. Don't try that. See, I was
I'm a
listening to
foundational
all
Black
y'all.
American.
Yeah,
I'm a
foundational Black
foundational Black
American. Nigga,
Well,
you
hold
American,
just
on, no,
and
no,
that
James,
doesn't
James, but
mean
Jay,
that I come from
but hold
slavery.
on, what Mike,
It means
what
you're
Mike, but
immigrant,
hold
bro.
on, Jay, hold
That's what
on, Jay,
that
but
means.
hold on, Jay, but James, I'm confused because your line of thinking is similar to Jay and the Don, so I'm confused.
Because people
The reason
look.
why I said that because all foundational Black American ancestors were not enslaved. They did not
We don't,
enslave all of us.
and
Some
we
of
didn't
us
all come
were,
from Africa neither.
and I did not say we came from Africa. I said I think all of humanity, from
That's
essence,
the same
came
thing,
out of
bro.
Africa. This
But
is
it
just me,
didn't
bro.
though.
I could be
You did.
wrong. I could be wrong.
Albuquerque
I think
predate
that we are
modern humans,
indigenous
bro.
to this land. I
We
actually
are
do believe that we are indigenous to this land. You know
indigenous.
what I'm
We
saying?
are, bro.
But
We are. That's what
What?
I'm
Can you
telling
indigenous,
say
you. We are.
indigenous? What does
we're
that
from,
mean? Is that a new word?
Indigenous. That's why I
that
corrected
means we
him.
are
I
of
said
the earth.
indigenous. I helped him.
We
You
sprung
trying to be
from this
funny.
earth.
You trying to be
Okay.
funny, but you don't got no facts,
Okay.
bro.
All right,
Dude that was
For
laughing
me,
at whoever you are.
let me pass the mic. Dizali, go ahead, Dizali, unmute yourself.
Thank you, man. My name is Dizali. You can just call me DZ. I've been a member of your channel for like years and years, going way back. I didn't know that you was popping it off like this. So I'm glad to be here. I usually be on the Sinetta channel, and we have a term that we utilize over there called pseudos. I've been here for a little while, and I've heard a lot of pseudo information, anti-scientific, anti-history. Now, we're all Black here, and we've all seen that movie Friday when the girl told Craig, "You don't have to lie, Craig. You don't have to lie." That's what I like to tell Black people now. We don't have to lie about our history, about our past. We don't have to create stuff. You know, we can hold our head high, poke our chest out, and say, yes, we did come from a history of slavery, but look at us now. Let's get into the science of it. My Black people who think that you've always been here, you have not. Genetically, we are majority
prove it.
African.
Prove
Genetically,
it.
we
If
are
you can't prove it,
majority.
then you
Fall
pseudo.
back,
You gotta let them.
fall back,
You gotta
fall
let them
back.
talk. You gotta let them talk.
Genetically, the
Well, let him prove what
science.
he's saying. He just talking
You got
that
well,
Genetically,
pseudo.
James. You got to be
Just for
quiet,
the
James.
interrupting.
Have some
science,
decorum,
the
some discipline, James.
the science, you know, that thing that allowed those Europeans to conquer this world and keep their foot on this world called science that shows and proves, which we really
We
need to
created
catch up
science.
with. Yeah. They just got it, you know, organized, and it really helped them. So we have to stop fighting the science, Black people. We got our
Source
ass
up.
kicked because we are fighting science. Science kicks ass.
Source up.
Science
I
kicks
need to
ass.
tell you something,
Slow
bro.
down, slow down, slow down. So we all have African genetics, majority West African, subtropical. America is not tropical. America is temperate, North America. So the people who actually adapted to it have a temperate phenotype. We have a subtropical phenotype. We have to stop fighting facts and stand on
You know
what
what
we
South America is,
actually
bro?
are. Yes, I do. And we don't have
Yeah, and
any
we was from
oil. We
there
don't have any.
originally too. Like that we was on that
Actually,
land first,
actually,
bro.
actually,
Bona and
fall
Pat.
back.
We was a
Actually, fall
Bona and
back.
Pat.
Let me land. Let me land. Let me land. Let me
One
land.
mic, one mic.
Thank you. So, in closing to land, because I see the people don't want me to land. Dinus, you have a panel full of pseudos right now. They are anti-scientific, anti-history. I like how you asked them how did Europeans get here if they didn't have boats. No answer. When you when you ask them for their when you ask
hold
them
on,
for their when you yes sir,
It's Dinus talking. But
yes
my
sir, yes
favorite
sir.
one is I just want to know what was the indigenous language, what's their culture, the customs, their food. Like, I can't get nothing.
Yes sir.
Tut was
And the
one of the
last
language.
one, it would be more embarrassing if we were indigenous here. It would mean that the Europeans came here, kicked our ass so thoroughly, we forgot everything, and they still here with their feet up on our damn end table eating damn sunflower seeds. That's worse than a damn slave story.
That's not how it happened, though.
That is worse. But let me land and let
Everything
me
you
fall back.
said was
Thank you,
pseudo,
guys.
bro. You came over here calling people pseudo, but you was pseudo because you ain't dropped no sources. You just was popping it. The fuck?
Opinions, straight opinions.
All
We
right,
can
all right,
go
let me
source for source.
all right, let me pass the mic to Hammer Time. Go ahead, Hammer Time. Unmute yourself, Hammer Time. Hammer Time, unmute yourself.
The source is the United States. Oh.
Happy Zone, we can't hear you. Your connection's terrible. Let me read these super chats. JC Inc., thank you for the 499 holla. Between 1525 and 1866, approximately 12.5 million Africans were forced to slave ships bound to the New World. 10.7 million survived the voyage. FBA Yellline, thank you for 499 holla. The Azazil gene that was discovered in that Black American is also found in concentration in Cameroon among the Bangwa tribe. That just proves we come from Africa. All right.
That's a lie. That
Yeah,
don't
I
prove
mean,
that.
sorry,
That
guys.
the
I've been
niggas
I've been
over there.
patiently
We got
Well,
quiet.
hold on.
people.
Let me go ahead, Happy Zone. Go ahead, Happy Zone.
Say one of the sources, if you guys ever want to find out, is the fact that you guys don't have a written language. Not a lot of African tribes don't have a written language, you know. So no, every source you guys are gonna go to try to go to is gonna be a white European person that's gonna have the source information for you. You're gonna try to use that to basically, you know, basically make your claim a little bit more valid. But either way, none of us have sources because obviously our people back then did not have any written language.
That's incorrect. Like, what are you talking about? Who said we don't have no written language? They spoke Hebrew
All right,
over here, among other
what's the
things.
language? What's the
There's
language?
different
What's the language
languages.
that
There's
you spoke?
different
What's the
tribes
language
that
that you
had
speak?
multiple languages.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't
Yeah,
even
so we're
write. Where's
asking
the where's the
Speaking
where's the
Gene, we're
English
lecture?
now, that's
asking you.
not the
Where's the
Hold on,
same.
Happy
How can
manuscripts?
Zone.
people speak
Hold on,
English
Happy Zone. Happy
that's
Zone. Hold
from
on.
other
So
places? That
Gene,
sounds
I'm
crazy.
asking
You sound crazy.
I'm asking you a direct question. What's the language of your tribe?
I don't speak the language of my tribe because we was taken over. All of us got taken over. All of these tribes got names
Oh
changed
Lord.
when they brought the Asian people. This is facts, though. This is information that could be looked up. There's channels that got the information that you could look these things up. These ain't no
How could they do
claims and
that?
shit. We don't got a claim. What do you mean? How could they do that? You
Channels.
want to know? I'm gonna tell you.
Channels.
There's people like us that went
Oh,
over to the
okay.
other
How can
side.
I
Cause
come
look,
to,
let me
how can I
finish.
come
Let
to
me
your
finish.
house
Cause you
and
want
make
to
and
ask a
change the
question.
whole
I'm giving you the answer. Listen, the people that was across the water is from over here. We went over there. We set up certain things. Some people stayed and some people came and kept going back and forth. That's how they knew what niggas spoke over here. That's
Okay,
why
whoa,
when they
whoa,
said Christopher
hold on.
Columbus
Let
said,
me,
oh, they
I'm
speak
gonna give,
Hebrew over
hold
there.
on, Gene. I'm
He brought
talking.
a translator.
Gene, I'm gonna give you a warning. No,
But
the
y'all
N
not
word's not
listening.
allowed here.
All
The
right,
N
all
word's
right,
not
all right,
allowed. Go ahead.
all right. But yeah, but that's how he knew that we was over here because that's how he knew the language to bring a translator for because he knew the language that was over here. Not because he just magically knew it, but because people were going back and forth because we established over there. That Sumerian and Anunnaki stuff they show with the so-called pine cone, that's not a pine cone. That's corn. And corn was cultivated in America from something called Teosante. And they kept cultivating multiple times, grafting it to make it the corn that we know today, the various types of corn. We brought that stuff over here.
Also
That's why all the
cocaine.
masonry that's over here, yeah, cocaine and the mummies, and tobacco, which is from America. That's why they have all these old ads where it's showing us with so-called Indian feathers on our heads, smoking a long pipe of tobacco, and it's saying fine tobacco, and you got different depictions of us trading, showing the pale man tobacco because the pale man is just genetic mutations of the European people that came from here that stayed over there. Those people, they're just a genetic mutation. They're recessive. When you keep inbreeding, you make your skin become pale, or you get other deformities, and you could become like albino. And that's one of them things that you keep making albinos, and you mix it with a light-skinned person, you can make another person that look like a so-called white person. All these other peoples, that's all they are. But people want to make up these races and stuff that don't exist, and these missing links that don't exist, because that's from Darwin's. That's Darwin. Like Darwin came up with that hominids and all this missing links and all. That's not real. He was
All right,
trying to figure out where the
I
caveman
gotta pass
came
the
from.
mic. I gotta pass the mic to Hammer Time. Go ahead, Hammer Time.
All right.
How you doing, First Donnie?
Doing good.
I think it's a whole lot of misinformation because some people have their feelings on stuff, but even with history, there's a lot of history that was not correct that we got from white people. Um, I've been to Africa a couple of times. I've never had an African call me African. My family is from Virginia. My grandfather had a 300-acre farm. I know 5 generations back. They never told us we were African. But from all my studies with Dr. Ben, and he said if you take a German Shepherd, 2 of them to China, and they have puppies, they're going to be German Shepherd puppies. You take Africans to America, and they have babies, they're going to be African. Well, since that time, though, it's been a whole lot of inbreeding, a mixed breeding, as I should say, race mixing. And throughout the years, I just don't think that the people here are the same people that are African, because they look at, if it was a native that bred with an African, why would they override the native for the African? That doesn't make sense, because it's just like having a mutt. A half German Shepherd, half poodle, it's a mixed dog. I couldn't sell you that dog as a German Shepherd. But that's just the way people's feelings are on these things, and it's just went wild right now.
What you're referring to is genetic expression, bro. That's all you're saying. Like, people do mix genetically. People can look black and actually have more European DNA. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but I guess
There's
like
no such
a
thing as
lot of people in the
European
South.
DNA. I already proved that.
What did you say about mixing?
I said a lot of people have been mixing, and I feel like, yeah, some people can look black and present as white, or people can look white and present as black. That's happened, but in the terms of the South, most people that the British, when they came here, they don't usually mix with their slaves, or that's the reason they didn't want you guys sleeping with white girls. But also, like, the Portuguese are different; they'll sleep with anybody, so they look
Okay.
different than everybody, you know. So it's just a genetic
Well,
expression.
let
So
me
that's
let me
true what you said.
let me ask you something. Do you know how many Native American tribes it was?
How many?
Yes.
No, I
None of
don't.
us
Go ahead.
know. None of us, because they erase so many. It's
Well, I'm just saying, give me a roundabout figure if you did any
It's
research on it.
impossible because tribes are just families. There's literally just all of our families that we
Well,
had
you got
living on
5
this land.
civilized
Because
tribes
you
that.
said you had your generations over here, which we know, like a lot of people that's still in the South, your family was there from the beginning. A lot of time, and they wasn't from some Africa, but people keep trying to push this on us, like. And you could show, like, you seeing that your people was from here, but they want to tell us we from Africa and we got this much European. But if you take a DNA test, if you look at the information, it will be saying all of that shit is like not detected. But they still a
Okay.
lot of time will
Okay.
lie
Well,
and
the
try to
reason
put some shit, but they'll show
I,
you where your people was at. They found bones that's similar to yours.
well, the reason I asked that question was because it was over 1,000. They had 5 civilized tribes, and what you said earlier was true. Once they started classifying people, they took a lot of people with dark skin and they put them in another group. They took them off of the Native American list, and
Yeah,
senators are still talking about that to this day.
I don't want to
So
cut you
I'm
off,
just
but
speaking
I
on
want to
my
add to what you're
family.
saying.
I'm just speaking on my family.
Yeah,
You
I want
know,
to add to
of
what
what
you're
I
saying
know,
though.
because nobody in my family, me and my father, we went back and forth before he died in 2019, because I told him we was African, and he just told me, you don't know what you're talking about. I wish I could wake him up now,
He
because
hear you
Well,
now.
guys,
He hear
let me.
you.
I gotta pass the mic. Let
okay.
me read the super
Thanks,
chat
Danny.
first. Tell the Pretenians to name at least one reputable geneticist, historian, or scientist who argues that Black Americans are descendants of natives. Sid
Just
Wyatt. Go ahead,
Oh,
Sid Wyatt. Huh?
I was gonna say real quick, just like on the topic of
No,
mixing,
no, no, no.
the way
I gotta pass the mic. Go ahead, Sid Wyatt.
Good afternoon, brothers. Thank you for having the platform and the forum. I mean, I don't know why y'all are wasting y'all time trying to be rational and provide rational research and rational information and rational methodology to irrational people. This whole pseudo nonsense is a result of pathology, what Dr. Bobby E. Wright would call menticide. These people are this is a coping mechanism. You're not going to break through to these people. These people need to go see African centered therapists and formulate a systematic way that they can get over this coping mechanism that they're exuding right now, and they're trying to spread it to as many people as possible so they can feel normal. But I mean, this is just a result of colonialism, bro. When you conquer, this is
Nah, bro, you being
what happens to the
disrespectful to our
man.
ancestors, bro. You a clown for that. You
Not
don't
not
know
not
what you
my not
talking
my
about.
ancestors. Not my ancestors.
That,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah,
y'all, if y'all African, then be African, but not all of us is African. That's some nonsense to say, oh, we
All
coping
right. So
mechanism.
why
You don't
why are you
got
here
no
then? Why
proof
are
of
you here then?
Well,
Why are
accuracy.
God,
you here?
God,
Because
no.
I
Well, he.
explained in the beginning
Hold
to
on.
Diane
Let me
and I
pass the mic.
subscribe to
It's not your turn. Go ahead, Sawai. Go ahead, Sawai.
Yeah, I mean, look, brother, I'm not here to argue with you. I really could care less whether you think you're indigenous or not. It's not going to
Yeah,
change your
you do.
standing.
That's why you
Yeah,
said what you said.
no, I really don't. I'm saying it's not about you as an individual. I'm prescribing what you're going through. I'm with people that think
And
like
it's
you are
not
going
what
through.
we going through. It's called facts that we know from
Can
our
brother,
family and from
this is what
facts. You
you would
talking
call this.
nonsense right now,
This is
bro.
not a dialogue.
You coping. You want to be
This
an
is not
African, be an
supposed to
African,
be
Hey,
bro. How about
this.
Jen, don't interrupt him.
This is not supposed to be a dialogue. This is a monologue right now. After I finish, if nobody else has spoken yet, it could be a dialogue. But like I
Well,
was
people
saying,
was
bro,
talking every time, so that's how.
you people that think like people that come on here and espouse and nonsense, bro. Y'all have horrible decorum. Y'all like that's there's no way that y'all could have been satisfactory students, bro. Y'all come on here with just crazy methodology. You have bad behavior. Y'all really be having learning disabilities and behavioral disabilities, bro. But yeah,
You
like I
see the
said, bro,
stuff you saying as nonsense.
y'all
You
need to
don't know the
stop.
people you
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
to. You don't got no
I'm
sense.
just
You didn't prove no
it's a
points. You didn't bring no
what
facts.
Well,
You
you
just
got you got
saying
you got to
opinion.
let him.
you
You
are
got to let him
still
finish.
interrupting
Go ahead.
me. You are still. This is what I'm talking about, and it's not about you. It's a reoccurring theme about people that think like you. It's not even just about the abo stuff. Anybody that usually comes on here spewing nonsense and pseudo stuff, bro, they have horrible decorum and they just constantly interrupt people. But like I was saying, y'all need to stop trying to appeal to these people's intelligence. That this is based on emotion. Black people think that they can feel something enough to make it a fact. You're not going to break through to these people with no empirical data, with no methodology, with nothing. They're set on what they think, and it is what it is. The only thing you can do is stop is inform the youth and keep them from falling to the same destructive cycle. But I'll yield the mic.
All right, go ahead,
Exactly.
Taraka.
Those are
I
some
got to
He
pass the mic.
talking
Go ahead,
crazy.
Taraka. Go ahead, Taraka.
Yeah, question. How's everybody doing? I wasn't gonna come on, but somebody mentioned Jamaica. The dude that mentioned Jamaica says his father is from Jamaica. Is that what he said?
Yeah, that's what I said. Manchester,
Okay,
Manchester, Downs. You know where that's at, right?
okay. I'm from Trelawney. So
Well, my grandfather from Chilani.
okay. So let me ask him. So you think that the indigenous people
The indigenous people look
we're
like us,
indigenous to the
bro.
land?
We are. We was in South America before we went to up to North. We was in the whole land, Canada, America, South America, the islands. We was in this whole place.
So let me ask you something. You believe in science and technology, right?
Yeah, that I spoke. I put up my facts. I spoke facts already. Like, if you
Okay.
want to
So
know, you
so
could
And
come
your
to my
facts
page.
were
You could come
okay.
please
to
prove
my
your point.
Well,
page.
let me.
Go ahead.
Nah, because they try to lie about the Cameroon tribe having like
All right.
6.3%
I got you.
frequency or something
I
over
got you. I
like the
got you.
higher frequency being in America.
I got
And the
I got you.
timeline of the people existing on the earth
All
is
right,
around the
Jen,
earth.
Hold on a second, bro. Hold on.
You got to yield. This is Tarka's turn. Go ahead, Tarka.
Hold on,
Yeah.
bro. Okay, so since you believe in science and technology, that's fine. All right. Um, so my DNA shows me that
Oh my.
most of this. That's why I asked if you believe in science and
Oh man,
technology.
bro, do you know what this
My shit,
DNA
bro.
tests
Let me
are
shut up.
for?
Shut up. Let me talk.
Don't
Shut
tell
up.
me shut up, bro. You
Well,
shut
get the
But
up.
hold
fuck
on,
off the mic.
Shut
I'm
up,
talking to you.
bro. Get out of here,
hold
cause
on,
you talk.
hold on, one mic. Jen, you're being very you're showing no decorum, no self-control, and you're heavily emotional. Let the brother talk. Don't interrupt him. All right, go ahead, Tarka.
All right, let me finish. That's why I asked him if he believe in science and technology. My DNA said most of my ancestors came from the land they call Nigeria today, specifically from the Igbo people. Right? This is what my DNA say. Right? So If he's going to say his father come from X, Y, and Z, you got to prove it by science. You can't. It have to be science that you take. You have to take the DNA. You have to do it. You see what I'm saying? You can't.
Talker, we lost you.
Bro, you want me?
Can I say something real
I
quick?
can answer.
Can I
I
say
can
something
No,
real
answer.
quick?
no,
Let me
no.
answer
I'm
Let
having a
because
hard
let
time
he
let
just
proving
saying
it.
disrespectful stuff.
Talker's
DNA, that's not.
back. Go ahead, Talker.
He finishing? Let him finish.
No, he's not. I'll let you know when he's finished. Go ahead, Talker.
Yeah. So when you do a crime, you commit a crime. You see what I'm saying? Part of the test they're gonna give to you, right? Is forensic test. That's DNA. If you get a woman pregnant, right, and you deny it till the day you die, the child don't look like you, but the DNA said this is your child. That's it. You got to pay the bill. That's just
Yo,
how it
if that's
works.
your
Science.
point, if that was your point,
You
you
see what I'm
bugging
saying?
because I already proved that
That's
DNA
all.
tests. Do you
You don't,
ever do you ever watch them DNA tests? What they say about them?
bro,
What the people
bro.
say that the
Well,
actual
do you
high
ever watch what the
frequency of
research
what could be
say about
what it
things?
actually
You're
is,
doing
if it's
research.
actually that. You
Then you
don't
don't believe in
research because
technology
those
and
are for
science.
entertainment purposes. If it's your
Then you
cousin or
don't
your
believe in
father, your
science and technology.
Guy, we got let Tarka finish. Go ahead, Tarka.
Then you don't believe in science and technology. That's all we have to go by. Science and technology. You're on this internet today talking nonsense because of science and technology.
Let me get next.
You see what I'm saying? So you're not. Don't come with this nonsense about
do you
Jamaican
know that
people.
they label
Did
the
you? I
test? Do
don't
you
care,
know they label
bro.
the test? They put the
What you
label of
say,
what the DNA is,
what you
not the
say
test. They
is
put the label.
nonsense.
You
What you
saying
say,
nonsense because you don't even know
bro?
how them
The
tests work because you thinking it's
Jamaican
linking you
people
to
don't
Africa.
believe you.
Where's your African
Jamaican,
cousins though? Where's your
Jamaican
African
people don't
cousins?
believe you.
Listen, you
Jamaican
don't make
people don't
sense because
believe
you
you.
don't know what you're talking about.
All right,
Where's your
But
African
Gene,
bro,
cousins?
let her
Jamaican
finish.
people
Let her
don't
finish.
believe
That's
you.
what I'm proving my point.
Jamaican
Where's
people
your
don't believe
African
you.
cousins? Where's your African cousins on the
Bro, you're an
DNA test?
individual person.
Where is your
Jamaican people
African
don't believe
cousin?
you. You
You're not
can't prove
understanding.
nothing.
See,
You're
you
an
don't know what you're
individual
talking
person.
about. You don't know
You're
what
an
you're talking about. I'm not
individual
saying
person.
every single person has the same
You're an individual
ancestry.
person.
I didn't say that. That's not what I
Bro,
said. I said we are indigenous to this landmass,
you just
and
said
we
I
not all
was.
coming from
You just said I
Africa.
was.
Yeah, speaking on so-called black people, the people that people's calling FBA and
You,
African American, the people that people's trying to call WABOs and all this shit,
bro.
that's the
Okay.
people I'm speaking on. And
Uh,
you from the island people come
Dynast,
from
Hey,
America.
Gene, you
So
Dynast,
gotta go ahead, Tarka.
Dynast. Just give me a few one
Don't
more
don't
minute.
don't interrupt. Don't interrupt.
Just give me one more minute, all right?
Mm-hmm.
What you were talking about the dude with the boat, um how the hell the boat is that big? Oh Lord, this is so crazy. Okay, we found there's a if you ever been to New York before, right? They were excavating in New York to build a building years ago, or maybe 30 years ago or 40 years ago. I don't remember how long it was, but it was a long time ago. And they found a replica of a boat. You see what I'm saying? A real boat buried in the ground, right? It's in the museum right now. But they made a replica of that original boat, right? And it's in downtown right now. It is big as hell. You see what I'm saying? They found another boat in Alabama, right? Divers found it, right? Rotten to hell, but it is big as hell. And Donnie, you're talking about 40? Bro, I've seen over 100 people in them damn large ass canoes. They on you can just watch videos right now of them. Over 100 people on these canoes.
Tarka. So
Okay?
the one Tarka, the one I was in, there was like 40 or 50 of us. I was scared as shit. And so
Right.
when they dropped us off, and this was a 30-minute ride, I was scared as shit. So when
That's
we
funny.
got there, dude was like, "Yeah, I told you you'll be okay. This is the boat we take to Italy, and we have like 100 people on here." I'm like, huh?
Bro, you see how much of these people fit in these boats going over to crossing the Mediterranean? 40 ain't nothing. They got like 100, 150. You see what I'm saying?
You missed the
It's
timeline
crazy.
though. You missing the whole timeline of the earth though. That's why you saying that. You still thinking we came from Africa
Bro,
and we
but
got dropped off here.
Well,
But you don't even understand the
do you,
logistics of all that. All of them
bro, that
people
ain't
didn't get
nothing.
shackled and
Sailing
was
ain't
laying
nothing.
on the floor
Bro,
to throw up
they
shit
found,
and piss.
they got a
That don't
boat,
make no
they got a
sense,
boat,
bro. You're
they
not
got a
making
boat
sense.
in the Egyptian museum right now. That's over 3,000 years old.
everything in the
Yeah, and
museum ain't
Albert Perry
real.
What are you
DNA is
talking
older
about?
than that. It's
Bro,
10 times
you
older than
just said you
that,
don't believe in
300,000.
DNA. You just said you don't believe in DNA. Why are you using
No,
Albert
I
Pike?
said DNA tests don't say that you African. It don't say, oh, you're African because it's the DNA test. They put the label on the test saying that it's African.
So
They test his Y
Who else
DNA
would?
and
a
said
DNA,
that.
a DNA,
Okay,
a
okay, okay,
DNA
okay. Hold on,
test.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold
Man,
on.
these
What
people are
you just
Look,
said
there's something called genetic
hold
There's
on,
something called
hold on, hold on,
relatives on
hold
the
on,
DNA test.
hold on. Okay,
You know that, right?
hold on, hold
You
on,
know
hold
that,
on,
right? I don't
just
got no African
one second.
cousins,
Okay,
bro.
okay, okay.
No
One second,
African
one second.
cousins.
Okay, one
No
second, one
African
second.
relatives, bro.
One second, one second, one
That's a
second. You
fact.
just okay, but one second. You just said that Albert Pike's
Okay,
DNA
what though?
is 300,000 years old, right? The X
It probably older than that.
okay, Y chromosome, right? But it doesn't really
Yeah,
even
I said
matter
it's
because
why.
the X
It
chromosome is the
does.
most important. Okay, the X chromosome is the most important chromosome. That's the biggest one. That comes from the African woman. So it doesn't really matter. You're
No,
trying to
it
say
doesn't.
yes it does. What are
No,
you
it
talking
doesn't. It's
about?
from over here.
Oh
The first
my
people is
god.
over here.
Let
We
me
not
The
talking
X
finish
about
on that
chromosome
Albert
literally
hominids and none
comes.
of
Perry.
that.
It's called
brother.
it's
We not
called the
talking about
You can
hominids
list
and none of
every
that.
you
it's
can
called the
list
Let me
every
Y
Brandon,
field
chromosome,
Brandon
genes
is
bro. What are you
relative to
listening.
talking about? The
genetic
We not
Y
studies
talking
not
about
going to yield
hominids,
to it.
bro. We not talking
let
about
I
me
think you guys
hominids.
had enough now. Let Brandon speak now, man, because you guys.
We
let me
not talking about hominids though.
let me finish on
We
that
talking about
Albert Perry real quick, real quick. Albert Perry's chromosome only mean that his ancestors were getting banged by archaic humans over in Africa.
what
That's
is
all it means.
archaic humans? That's some made up stuff. Nobody that don't exist. It's called when
you're
you
using
inbreed,
selective
you have
history. You're using
All right,
mutations.
selective
guys.
history.
There's no
I gotta pass.
missing links,
I
bro.
gotta pass the mic to Brandon. Go ahead, Brandon.
Hey, Dynas, can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear. You must not be on your Obama phone today.
Same phone. Hey, look, there are no humans, Homo sapiens, or Neanderthals that evolved or originated in the North American continent. So when you listen to these people, they just don't know science, or they may have learned
Is he
science.
speaking?
They may have learned science and they just dismiss it because they want to live in a fantasy. And the conclusion that I've come to about these people is this whole thing, this whole identity thing is a psyop. They introduced this stuff into the black community purposely to see how many black people were undereducated or totally opposed to formal education so that they could usher in socialism and all these different types of self-destructive ideologies, right?
This isn't
Because,
new. My grandmother told
because,
me we was
because
coming
yeah,
here. So this isn't new. This isn't
and
no new.
let me tell you this too. Let me tell you this too. My grandmother said the same exact thing. And then when I went and talked to my grandmother and said, "Where did you get this idea that we're Cherokee Indian from?" Right? She said, "You know what?" She said, "When she came to California, she's from Georgia. She said, when she came to California, we had a cousin who was mentally ill. And she used to say, yeah, you know, we're Cherokee Indian." And my grandma said, since she was saying it so much, she said, I just kind of believed it because she was older than me. So she started saying it. I said, would you do a DNA test with me? She said, yes. There was no Native American blood in our DNA.
You
So
do know that they make
what,
the test.
what I'm telling you, if you know your own history, a lot of this idea where people said we got Indian in our family originated with women who were slaves, who were raped by white men, who wanted to cover up the fact that their baby was the baby of a white man who assaulted them. So they would say, yeah, my kid is part Indian. I had this baby with an Indian to
That's a
justify
lie. That's not the timeline. But
this is a
okay.
listen. You don't know. Listen, when you believe what you
I
believe,
do. You coming
bro,
in
you
with
gotta
stuff. That's
stop
not how
interrupting me.
that came
You gotta
about.
stop
It just sound
interrupting
like
me.
y'all coming up here
Listen,
Stop
lying. We
interrupting the
what
know
man. Stop
ancestors.
interrupting.
if there's one thing we learn from you wabos is that you guys don't even know how to identify a lie. So how can you say this is a lie when your whole identity that you've adopted is a lie? You said that you're indigenous to North America. There is no human being that is indigenous to North America. No scientist, nobody who's educated would agree with you when you say we are indigenous to this land. We migrated here. All life came from Africa. White, blue, black, or green came from Africa. So how could you be indigenous to this place? You can't. And the fact that you refuse to accept that, it just shows that you are low intelligence or just willfully
Low
ignorant.
intelligence, because I bet you think them
Selective history.
Yeah, selective revisionism. But this is a reduction to the absurd. That's a scientific term. Like, it's easy to say, and then they say grandma. What is grandma's education level? Did she learn it from someone who was a slave? Did that person even know how to read? Did that
None of the
person
people
even...
in my family was slaves. I did
No,
genealogy.
you
That's the
don't
whole
know
point.
that.
You
You
don't know.
don't
Yes, I
know
do
that.
know that. It
No, you
says it if
don't.
they're slaves. It was even in the 1800s. If your
You're
people
using...
slaves, it's gonna
You
say it.
listen.
They
You're using...
wasn't.
Listen.
So
This is
you
not a
need to
debate.
check your family. If
This
you
is
were
not a
African, you were
debate.
African. That's what it
But
is.
slaves were identified by the last name of their white masters. So any genealogy that you do is gonna have white
Our
names.
last names did not come from white people. That's
Okay,
another
what's your last
lie
name?
that you
What's your
believe.
last name?
That our names did not come from white
What's
people.
your last name?
You don't need to know my
Mine is
last name.
Tucker. I know that ain't an African name.
Listen,
Brandon,
European names
Listen,
come from
Brandon,
us.
listen.
That's what you're
Brandon,
You're...
not
I want to ask
Listen.
you
understanding.
a
Let me
question.
tell
They
you
didn't even
this.
have names because European is a
Okay,
construct.
where did your last name come from, and what is it?
My last name
Brother,
came
they
from
they
my
ascribe to the Black
ancestors.
No,
Europeans.
no. I want him to answer this. He said our names did not come. He said his family name didn't come from no white man. What is your last name, and what is the origin of it?
Like I
I'll wait.
said, you don't need to know my personal
I'll
last
wait.
name.
Oh,
You don't need
Exactly,
that.
because this
I
dude's
don't
last
need to
name
know
is
your last name.
Johnson. This dude's
What?
last name is Johnson or Williams.
That
He
don't
got a
mean
white man last
that's not
name.
your, but that's not a
James.
No,
slave
they've
name though.
contrived to
Or
Your last name is
Jackson.
not a slave
Johnson.
name though.
Now
alternative
listen,
historical
wait,
narrative.
guys,
Okay,
That
guys,
don't
don't
come from
interrupt.
slavery.
Hey, guys, don't interrupt.
It's
Brand,
like
you
you
got 1
Brandon,
minute. I gotta
disrespecting your
pass the mic.
Okay,
ancestors.
can I ask you
listen.
a question?
This man just said that Williams and Johnson is not a white man name. See what I'm saying? These people don't know anything. They're
Brandon,
You
just
don't know
using
anything. You think white
they
people
are
came up
just
with
using,
English? They didn't.
listen, they're just using their ability to deny and call something a lie.
Nah, you want
But
outdated
this,
information.
but
I see
this
what
stuff,
it is.
listen, this stuff is weak, is surface level ignorance. There's no depth to it. The minute you start asking them for receipts, they turn into Dane Calloway. Like when I debated him, he started crying. Oh, you call me fat. Deflect away from
Oh, I
it.
knew I recognized your voice, man.
Yeah,
You was
boy,
gonna
you
go
know
jumper
me.
with the BS.
I
Man,
cook
I
the
thought that
wombo
was
movement.
you. I
Wait,
thought that was you
okay,
talking that
but
because
what
you
you know
down
about
bad.
me?
But what
Nobody
happened
has
with
deleted.
Tariq
Hey,
Nasheed
can you
though?
please let me speak? Can you please let me speak? Can you please let me finish?
You a
Can you
funny
please let me
dude,
finish?
bro. You funny.
Look, guys, all these people do is deflect. It'll start off, we Indian, we indigenous, and then as soon as you ask them for proof, now they want to talk about cheeseburgers and reparations, right? This is all a psyop.
Nobody
These
talked
people are
about
the people that
cheeseburgers. Only you.
these are
Maybe
the
you
people
think
they're
about it because
using.
you fat.
These are the people they're going to use to undermine what's left of the black community because
You
these
an
people are
agent, bro. You an
these people
agent,
are
bro.
willing
You an agent.
to live and die to
I
believe
seen
in
you
a
on no
lie, to
jumper.
believe
By
in
the way,
something.
you an agent.
Hey,
You an
to
agent.
believe
I
in
already know.
something
I
that they
already know. I
know
don't
is
got nothing
not
else to
true.
say to you because I already seen your game.
Well, stop talking then. If you got nothing else to say to me, stop talking. These people will live and die based on any idea that they are programmed with. These are the people who will be used as the cannon fodder if there's ever any type of revolution because they believe whatever the white man say. Even the idea that blacks are the original Indians, that's a pseudo idea made up by a white guy. It's just like Louis Farrakhan telling black people a spaceship gonna come pick them up. There's actually black people who believe that. So it tells you we're highly susceptible
That
to
ain't come from
psyops and
no black
misinformation.
dude saying that we was like a white guy.
Man, listen, stop interrupting. Brandon, you got 20 seconds. I'll pass the mic.
20 seconds. This guy's clearly is my fan. He knows all about me. He watches
No, you
shows
was
that
on
I'm
no
on.
jump, but on
Yeah,
bullshit. That's
that's
how I
okay.
know about him.
You
Not
and by
talk.
the way too. Listen, he knows me. He's aware of me, and that's okay. But one thing I don't do, I don't make up lies.
You was
When I
behind
ask you to tell,
Flacco the
when I
tether,
ask you to
like your
tell
boy
me your
Tariq
last name,
Nasheed say.
when I ask you to tell me your last name and the origin of it, you couldn't because your last name is Williams.
No,
You
you're
are a
online though.
descendant of a
Your name is
slave.
online. Like, what you
You're a
talking
descendant of
about?
a slave who worked on a plantation.
I got to pass the mic. Question to ponder. Go ahead. Question to ponder.
Dynas, how are you? Hello,
I'm good. How you
Dynas.
doing?
Appreciate that I was able to follow Brandon, Dynas, and panel. What is very clear is that the anti intellectualism that runs rampant through the Black community is at record levels. It is
No,
that,
that's a show. That's
like,
a show top. I got to write that down. Go ahead.
good. I'm glad I participated. I'm glad I helped with that.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's at pandemic levels. This is very concerning. I really appreciate your channel, Dynas. You do a great job moderating, especially with so many people. We get to hear what everyone has to say. And it's very clear that when you're looking at the poor literacy rates within the Black community, when you're looking at those who have not taken the time to, complete high school, go to college, obtain a degree, you hear and see how they are easily susceptible to like gin, to like craftiness, to a snake's oilman. We have already mapped the human genome. We have a considerable amount of information when it comes to ancestry. However, we don't even need to touch on science. Dynas, we have United States Code. We have these court cases. And furthermore, there are records, excellent records. There are ship records. There are manifest records. You can, if someone really wanted
There's
to have
also
knowledge of their
genealogy.
history, if someone wanted to have knowledge of their history, let's not forget Jamestown was 1619. That is not a long time ago. The first corporation, the Dutch East Indian Company, they still have incredible records. Dynas, we know the price of bread in Rome to this day, both the empire and the republic. We have great records. So there is no reason why someone should join your panel and speak as if he was like a warlock. And it looks very bad for those of the melanated race when we have people who embrace anti-intellectualism, and then they want to argue and even threaten, like to physically be violent against someone that they disagree with. Like we're in 2026. At this point, we should be above that. And with the type of channel that you have, which provides a great deal of education for everyone in the diaspora, it's just at this point right now, there's just no excuse. And with some of you, you should be able right now, it's not even just verbally, you don't even need DNA ancestry. You can find records. If you really wanted to know your background, you can find records. If you are unable to find records, that was done by design. That was done by design. And there's a lot that has been unsaid that a lot of people may not be able to or ready to accept when it comes to their history in this country. Like again, it's not that long ago. It's not. You can find information when it comes to your family and your background. Every boomer, and I'll wrap with this, Dynas, and I'll go back on mute. Every Black boomer, their grandparent or great grandparent was a slave. Pastor Manning, his grandfather was a slave. Pastor Manning, who's here alive right now in his 80s, and he's still very lucid, and we all know him. His grandfather was a slave. His grandfather received manumission, the amendment, when he was 2 or 3 years old. So let's not act like we cannot obtain information about like our families and our people. I'll go ahead and back on mute. Thank you, Dynas.
All right, let me read these super. I gotta read these super chats. Let's see here. We are okay. FBI Young Line, thank you for $1.09 holla. Drop the link from Brandon. I did. Rade Undugu, thank you for $19.99 holla. Dynas, thanks for moderating. Slim Bomar Sean 6726, thank you for $4.99 holla. Did my research. can't find no information of I guess how Black indigenous people that look like African Americans. There are no historical evidence. I don't understand. Detail, thank you for $5 holla. Brandon, cook your entire argument. Simbaram Shaw 6726, thank you for 999 holla. Cherokee, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Seminole Creek owned Black American ancestors as slaves, and the Cherokee owned 46,000 slaves. Correct. All right, Hammer Time, you had a question?
Yes, sir. My picture's up there on the screen. Do I look like an African to you?
Yes.
Yes.
I wouldn't say so because I went to Africa. I didn't see no one that looked.
Oh Lord Jesus! You went to all. You went to all. You went to all 54 countries, Hammer Time?
No, sir. I went to.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well.
But let me say this: as I said before, no one that told me I was African.
Hammer Time. If I put a Senegalese man in Nigeria, they wouldn't look alike.
Exactly. My point.
So when you say you don't,
but let me
what I'm saying is it depends on the country. Like you look like an Igbo man.
Why did he use the black and white picture?
Let me ask a question because you was talking about the boats earlier. When did the first Africans get to America?
16? What was it?
Wasn't it to do Dominico or what was that black guy's name?
What was what?
Brandon, I think you mean Esteban.
Yeah, Esteban. Yeah, Esteban.
The Spaniards. Esteban.
This is all history that you just never learned because you didn't graduate from the 3rd grade.
What was that?
That's all the insult, Brandon. An insult.
What was that, Brandon?
Yeah, he arrived in 1513. The wine.
That's just what you know, right? Because
here we go.
Many scholars said the same way you were talking about the boat thing, that Africans had been traveling back and forth for thousands of years.
Can you cite those scholars, please, and direct us to the sources, please?
Dinus, can I say this?
Brandon, let Hammer Time finish.
Dr. Yosef Ben Yakadin said it. Dr. Clark said it.
They never said that.
Dr. Clark never said that.
Dr. Clark never said that.
He said
I don't think Dr. Ben said that either.
On our history because they was getting paid. Some of them was sellouts.
Okay, look, I'm not here to insult anybody. I'm just throwing things up because a lot of information that we get is not right.
So Pan-Africans told you that you're not African.
Hold on, Brandon.
No, stop lying.
I'm not lying about anything. I'm asking.
Africans never tell us to be African.
You're lying. Dr. Ben never said that.
They have a museum in Washington, D.C. And the museum in Washington, D.C. had Dead Sea Scrolls in it. They just came out and said that they were fakes. So whoever put them there knew that they were fakes.
There's a lot of fake stuff in museums.
Yeah. That's my point. I'm saying to
They're
you,
replicas.
there are a lot of information that we got from different people that wasn't right because it was their story. They said Christopher Columbus discovered America.
Bro, there are slaves who wrote books.
Being over here.
There are slaves who wrote books, bro.
Dinus, can I come in?
What? Just one second. Let me ask you this, Dinus.
I'm not debating that. I'm saying to you, I understand that I have African DNA within me. I'm not saying I don't, but I have a lot more different DNAs in me, and you can't tell anyone who they are from when I said, do I look like an African? That's all.
I tell you do look African.
You look like Danny Glover.
That's all into the eye of the beholder.
Dinus.
Oh Lord,
no. You objectively have an African phenotype. No other group has your nostrils.
Look, guys, Dinus, we didn't hear about Indians. We didn't hear about Indians until we saw Indians on TV when we were little kids. Hey, hold on. Our parents, Dinus, when you grew up, Dinus, when you came out the womb, did your mama tell you that you was Indian? Did you do Indian customs?
We didn't have none of that in my family. Like, Brad, let me ask you a question. Nobody in my family was talking about they Indian. We had none of that.
Dynast,
That's
even when,
y'all.
look,
That's y'all
even,
saying maybe
no,
y'all come
listen,
from Africa
hold
for
on.
real.
Dynast, even when you would watch movies back in the day, right? Black men were always depicted as cowboys or slaves. There was never no black Indians.
They
Black
use
people,
Ionized
hold
Cody
on.
as an Indian. He's
No,
Sicilian.
black people
Ionized
exterminate.
Cody is
Hold
Sicilian
on,
though.
bro. We talk about real history. Black
You
people,
talking about movies.
black
Ionized Cody
people,
was on the commercial.
black people exterminated Indians, Native Americans in the Indian Wars. That was our job. We went around annihilating Indian tribes, bro.
No, that's
So,
because they try to
Yeah.
come over
so
here
black people
taking our
clearly knew the
land with these
difference.
pale people
Black
that and
people,
other people that look like us from Europe that was
black
coming here. That's how
people,
they knew about the language.
black
You're
people
not gonna get
knew their
around that. I
identity.
already proved my facts. People that know the
Okay, so
truth
why are you still talking if
All
you
right,
already proved it?
Brandon. 20 seconds. I gotta
because you
pass the
keep
mic,
Okay,
lying on
Thomas.
20
people's
seconds.
history.
Y'all,
Stop doing
stop
that.
interrupting.
Listen,
20 seconds.
these
I gotta
guys
pass the
have
mic.
to interrupt because this is the truth. Black African descendants destroyed and exterminated Native Americans during the Indian Wars. If you are from here, you probably had a great granddaddy uncle who fought in those wars, bro. This is not a mystery, bro.
No,
180.
those wars was us
Wait,
fighting
hold
against
on, hold
them
on.
and the
100.
Europeans and our
Listen, man,
other
this is real
people.
history, not you in denial. 183,000 armed black troops fought in the Civil War, bro. We know our history. We know our history all the way back to the time we touched down over here. You cannot rewrite our history because you want to live in a
You're trying to
fantasy.
rewrite
All right,
history.
No, I'm not.
You're
I
throwing
gotta
me
pass the mic. Go
there's
ahead,
proof of
Thomas.
that.
Go ahead, Thomas. Unmute yourself, Thomas. Thomas, you gotta unmute yourself, Thomas.
Okay,
Can I ask a
all right,
question?
Yeah, go ahead,
can you
Thomas.
hear me?
Yeah,
Oh,
Thomas, go ahead.
he's back. Okay, I've listened to this discussion for the last hour and a half, and it seems like everybody's pretty much just want to have a debate. But a debate should be on facts. So, back in the 1730s, when the first census was made, that census had the slaves and those dark complexion Indians. All of them became Negroes. Is that correct?
Yes.
No, it's
Okay.
not because that wasn't an American census.
Sir, I'll let you talk.
That's
I didn't cut
correct,
you off. I
Brandon.
didn't say
The
anything to
first
you.
United States Census was
You asked the question, dude.
1790.
Sir,
The first U.S.
I
Census
didn't
was
ask you a question
1790.
because you are not a historian.
Thomas, the first U.S. census was 1790, from what we were told.
Okay,
Yeah.
that census had dark complexion Indians, not those lighter complexion
There were
Indians.
no cameras invented back then, so how do you know?
Can you quiet down for a minute till I say
Diamonds, how do
something?
we know their complexion if there was no photography?
Calm down. Don't be triggered.
I'm
That's what people
asking
are
a
looking
very
for.
simple question. How
You
do
are
you know what they
triggered.
look like if
Slow
there was no
down.
photography?
Slow down.
Brandon,
Don't be
don't, because
triggered.
I wouldn't allow people to interrupt you, Brandon. So interrupt. So Thomas, let me ask you a question. Do you
And that's the
believe
whole
in your
point to this. That the majority of these people that come on these
Thomas, the
podcasts,
host is talking now. The host is talking now. Thomas, do
the point.
you identify as a Native American Indian, Thomas?
I am my family. I am a sharecropper. I grew up in Arkansas, so those people didn't know any of this stuff. They was just trying to get by. Listen to this guy on here. This guy constantly interrupting, and he's thinking that he has the only valid point. Don't ever listen to somebody that think they have the only valid point because they don't know what they're talking about. But I'm just saying that census that came out during that time, it was dark complexion Indians and those slaves. There's no way in the world, and I don't mean to say this, but it's just not truthful. Only 388,000 Africans came to North America. That's correct, right?
That's
No, I don't believe that.
within that number. That's within that number. Yeah.
Okay, it was 388,000.
Directly to the
That's a
mainland.
lot of
Yes.
people back
Yeah,
then.
that's a lot of people.
Sir, can you wait until I make the point, then you can jump in and disagree?
You asking questions.
But I don't need you to answer it. Just let me finish. Let me finish, sir. Only thing I'm saying is this. Now in the United States, there are 50 million black people. We're not talking about Africans. We're not talking about Caribbeans. It's 50 million.
Tom, this is the host talking. So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Are you saying there's a census that separates Black Americans from Black Jamaicans or Black Hondurans or Black Cubans or Nigerians? Are you saying there's a census that does that now?
that census was taken in, there were no Nigerians, no Caribbeans.
You said there's 50 million now. That's what you said.
That's separated. If you decide to come and say you black, you black. But if you put other, you put other. A lot
So
of
how
people.
do you know the people that mark black aren't Nigerian? Are Tarka still on here? Tarka?
Yeah.
Are you? So you're Jamaican, right? To mark Tarka?
Yeah.
Do you mark black or do you mark other?
Black, of course, bro. Other what?
Okay, so Thomas, your argument doesn't make any sense. But go ahead.
Well, it makes sense to the point to this, that a lot of people that come to this country, particularly African, they do not say they black. They say they're African and whatever country they come from.
No, but we're talking about the census. Like,
well, we're talking about census. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question then. How can you have?
Hold on.
Wait a minute, you won't let me finish.
But we have, Mr. Thomas, we have Africans on here. Questions to ponder. Can you unmute yourself? Questions to ponder.
I'm right here.
Okay, questions to ponder. You're from Nigeria. Your parents from Nigeria, Igbo, right?
Yeah, they visited for multiple times. My dad.
No, okay, but were you born here or were you born in Nigeria?
No, I was here.
Okay. Do you mark black but your parents are Nigerian, correct?
My parents are my dad is 100% West African, absolutely.
So
they mark black, always black.
So
they mark black.
No,
but they mark black, Thomas. They mark black. Not
excuse
you do okay, Thomas. You do know that West African, West African people, especially in the Northeast, always knew their ancestry.
Which is
and
not
one
black.
of the most famous being Paul Robeson. Not everybody is like you all.
Well, let's do this, ma'am. Let's do this.
Yes,
answer a question for me, ma'am. Are you in a Nigerian American?
I'm black. Black.
Are you Nigerian?
I did the ancestry.
But Thomas, that wasn't. Hold on, guys. One mic. But Thomas, one second question. But Thomas, your argument was that Africans come over here and mark other. Africans come over and mark black. I just gave you. Thomas, I'm not done yet. I'm the host talking. You have a Jamaican and a Nigerian that told you they mark black, but you're still on this. They mark other.
But can I say something, sir? That do you acknowledge that? I do not.
Oh my God. Okay. All right.
I acknowledge this. I acknowledge on that form it says other. A lot of people are putting other, not black, because they do not want to be associated with black. That's why this lady. That's why this lady is a Nigerian. She's a Nigerian American.
But Thomas, she told you she marks black.
She's Nigerian,
but she marks black, not other.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Now he knows more about her than she do.
I'm saying this, ma'am.
What are you talking about?
Ma'am, what I'm talking about is you are an immigrant.
How am I an immigrant? What are you talking
about? He's not an immigrant.
Well, I'm
born here,
ma'am. Excuse me.
Like you were born in that country.
Black Americans are not immigrants.
What are you talking about?
Man,
he's not an immigrant.
You do know that there are West African, like black people who have always been able to keep.
Excuse me, host. Can I ask you a question?
And know where they came from? That's my dad.
She's asking me a question. Go ahead, Thomas. Ask me a question.
Host, can I ask you a question? Are you in agreement that census it had Africans, those slaves that came from Africa, and those dark skin and indigenous people? Would you agree to that?
I'm not. I don't know much about that.
Wait a minute. Wait. No. Don't say you don't know nothing about it, because you've been saying all evening that everybody is the same, and yet particularly you said that. You said you said the slaves that came from Africa and came to the United States when in such large numbers, that became the majority of black people in this country. So it had to be another group already here.
But those dark-skinned Native Americans lived on tribal lands.
So do you understand that the Indians had slaves?
Yeah, we all know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're called freedmen.
From that, sir, that means that those Indians owned slaves, which means they not only owned that darker skinned Indians, they had the black people that were slaves. What? That's why the United States government. That's why the United States government forced the Indians to give those slave reparations, but they turned around and didn't do it.
Man, stop eating beans straight off the can, bro. It's messing with your brain stuff. Dinus, how does he know complexion?
Hey, bro.
Dinus, how does he know complexion without no photography or nothing like that.
Bro, you need to go.
I'm asking you a question. How do you know somebody's complexion based on a piece of paper?
You need to go and get a woman.
Can a new speaker
Wait,
speak,
Dinus,
please?
you need to make him answer this question.
I gotta pass the mic. Go ahead, Shaw. Go ahead, Shaw.
Okay, so this is what I found here. I just pulled this up, and it's talking about the question was: is there a way agencies in the U.S. disaggregate Black Americans from blacks from outside of the U.S. country? So it talks about what they're doing currently. This is current. I mean, it hasn't even happened yet. It's supposed to be finished by 2029, and then they go on to talk about what they've done, how they disaggregate Black folks from other places coming out from outside out of the country. And it says National Survey, Census and ACS, the U.S. Census Bureau, and the American Community Service disaggregate the Black populations using cross-referenced data metrics, nativity, and place of birth by combining a respondent's self-reported race, Black, with their stated place of birth and parental citizenship. Then it goes into questions, but these are the ACS asks open-ended questions about a person's ancestry or ethnic origin, allowing agencies to map distinct demographic and economic trends. So this, I didn't know that until I just pulled that up, but I've heard people talking about that. There's something like maybe 4 to 5 million non-African Americans that are of African descent in the country. So I've heard that before, but I never knew the specifics about it. That's
Are
one
they
thing.
doing the same thing for everybody? Whites, Spanish? Are they doing it for everybody?
I can ask
I
that
know
question.
that the people from the Levant they lobby to get the
Can I finish,
Middle
please?
Eastern,
Can I
North
finish my
Africa.
submission, please? Would you allow me? And this is related to psychologist Joy DeGruy, because I asked the question, and this is very relevant. This is very important. Psychologist Joy DeGruy says Black Americans suffer from post-traumatic slave syndrome. And then the AI says Dr. Joy DeGruy argues, she's a Black psychologist, by the way, argues that the distancing oneself from Black identity or fabricating other ethnic backgrounds is a manifestation of post-traumatic slave syndrome, PTSS. In her framework, denying African descent is an adaptive survival behavior rooted in multi-generational trauma. So I thought I would add that. Thank
Can
you.
I ask you a question?
Shaw, can I ask you something? During Reconstruction, because we all know that the Civil War, about 2.5% of the United States population was just gone. Never mind the additional men and women who just the injuries, they eventually perished. What the United States did do, they did have another wave of immigration. So approximately 5 to 6 million Germans. So this is after, post Civil War, post Reconstruction, about 5 to 6 million Germans came to the United States. So so that's what, almost like 150 years, maybe 200. They mark white. They wouldn't be like heritage Americans. They mark white. How would that be any different than anyone else who has come, post 1865 and before 1965, since people like to use the Immigration Act. Like there was waves of Europeans coming, but they're not quote unquote heritage Americans. And also, Dynast, this person speaking Thomas, most of the old English stock really remains with the heritage Black Americans.
Can I say something?
So many, if I may just wrap up real quickly.
Yeah, go ahead so I can say
something. You can wait your damn turn.
She's asking me a question.
I just want to say so many Americans, especially white Americans, died during the Civil War that the original stock, sadly, is gone. So more Europeans came in, and then they still fit the mold because many of them were Protestant, like I said, the Germans. So I wanted to throw that out.
And the Irish.
Okay, so let me respond and say this.
They
Yes,
So
still
and the
here.
what
Irish.
what
Yeah,
I found,
but
and I always
but the fact that the Germans are Protestant, there was no differentiation from them because
There is
like
a
the Irish Catholic,
differentiation.
how
They're
white people
immigrants.
are towards Catholic people. They go like we all know
Mm,
the history, the Irish and
yeah,
like the Protestants going back and forth, but the
yeah,
Germans are Protestant, and they could I mean they are like the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. They are Germanic. White
right.
people don't
so
differentiate from them at all.
let me respond and
No,
say
that's
this:
true.
that within the
That makes sense.
first couple of decades, on contact with the Europeans, not as bad as the islands, which they lost 90% of the people from diseases when the Europeans got to the islands, the Caribbean islands. On the mainland, there was some 50%, somewhere like 15 million, 50% of the population died upon contact with the Europeans in the first wave. There was a second wave of disease in which, as time went on and it went more into the interior toward the Midwest, another wave of Native Americans died. So now imagine you've got 15 to 20 million people, Native Americans, dying from disease.
That has
And
nothing to do with
then
black people.
no, but wait, listen, I'm talking about the population. So when you talk about 300,000 Africans coming into the Americas, and look at the population of the Native Americans, and then at some point, I forgot what year it was, 300,000 Native Americans were taken out of the eastern part of the United States and put into the Caribbean. So now you do the numbers on that. You have 380,000 or whatever it is
Mm,
Africans brought into the United States. Yet you have a huge depopulation of the Native Americans, and now you're talking about that in terms of just a scale and population and Africans in this country and Native Americans in this country.
May I say
yeah.
something,
I
sir?
mean, look,
They sell
look.
a
No, one
bullet
second,
kill.
one second. Look, I live in the UK. I live in a city where the guy who actually builds Pennsylvania is named after, come from. The word America came from the a guy that actually is a native to my city. Look, you African Americans, I understand the drama that you're facing with the Pan African. I can see why some people are drifting to this some of this cultist movement, and I totally agree to African American or Black American to have their own block, when it comes to politics and stuff like that. But look, and also the Africans need to stop forcing African Americans, to tell them who is what they say the identity, because that they got no business doing that, because
Facts,
African Americans
facts,
should yeah, they should identify themselves as who they want to identify themselves. The Africans have no business in that at all. But look,
facts,
we know genetically the people who left the continent of Africa, are actually people of the Niger Congo region, and they're West African and West Central Africans. However, these people they came from a different look. When I saw Brandon, I told him who I said Brandon the ethnicity was Fulani. When I saw Dynas, I can tell he's a Mende. I don't know where the Yoruba comes from, but that's fine. When I saw Tahaka, I can see Tahaka as an Igbo. If they fit in, the phenotype doesn't lie, the future don't lie. Sometimes it can actually feed into the character of the person also. So sometimes we need to just be proud of who we are and understand slavery. Transatlantic slavery is actually one of the worst crimes that happened to humanity. But we do have a great history in the West Central African region that the whole world envy. We have history before transatlantic slavery. I actually do like you guys to study, the history of West Africa a bit more, before the transatlantic slavery. Okay, so definitely you should learn the history of West Africa, because I had loads of people in America talk about the Mali voyage, that adds into the figures, Mali Empire sent people to America. But look, we know the reality is a lot of slaves went through those slave boats. I live in the city. Also, when someone mentioned about the boats, how they look like, I see the replica come here every year. They bring them to this city because they actually still talk about their history. These people are uh, the pride of some of these Europeans. They're still proud of their history. Okay, they have the replica of those boats that went over there to around the world. They actually, basically like to showcase this thing like it's like a festival or carnival every year. I go there. I'm very curious. I look and see exactly what they mean. what they're trying to do and learn from it, even though I totally discussed it. So we need to understand. We need to learn our history from inside and also
We
from the outside.
lost
We need to learn from the
Africa. I
European.
can't hear nobody.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so we need to learn the history from our own side,
Hello?
from the Europeans. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can hear
we
you.
hear you.
That's
Go
you,
ahead.
Shaw. That's you,
Oh,
Shaw. We
Yeah,
can
is
hear you.
anybody talking? Anybody else talking?
Yeah, that's your mic,
yeah,
brother.
Nope, I'm all
Oh,
yeah.
right.
It's a
You
mic
guys
shot.
can hear me?
Yeah,
hear
we
Yeah,
can
we
you.
can.
hear
I can
yeah,
hear you.
Mike.
I can hear you.
Yeah,
Can I
yeah, yeah.
speak? I haven't spoken
So,
since. Please,
so,
can I speak?
so,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
Please,
yeah.
yeah,
You
can I
yeah.
can.
speak?
Let me pass the mic to G Day. Go ahead, G Day.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Just a second, please. I noticed something that people say when they try to defend their denial of being Afro descendants. And that narrative is very common, and I need to really dispel that narrative. So what some people try to do is, basically those are of Afro descendant people that are in America, Americans of Afro descendants, of Afro descent. What some of them do try to deny their African ancestry. They say, oh, everyone came from Africa. So that's actually not true. So they try to confuse evolutionary migration with culture and ancestry and ancestral connection and culture and civilization. So what am I trying to say? The idea that everyone came from Africa is evolutionary. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a group of people that had their own civilization, they had their own culture in Africa. They had their own for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. They interbred with each other. Then they were captured recently. I'm being historical now, just very recently, about 500 years ago, and taken to the Americas, right? And also that same continent was colonized by the same Europeans. That's what we are talking about when we talk about the fact that African Americans, Afro-descendant people of the Americas. That's different from saying, oh, everyone came from Africa. Yes, evolutionarily, humanity started from Africa. There's that narrative, there's that one. But that's completely different from, like, for instance, the Jews, the Jews have migrated to many parts of the world, right? You understand? But they share culture, religion, spirituality, and in so many cases, so they share ancestry too. But that's different from evolutionary migration. So I want to dispel that. I'll stop there for now. Thank you.
What Jews are you talking about?
Oh Lord, here we go. Not the black ones. They're not no black ones.
No, not the black one. I'm just
yeah, not the black ones. Not no black ones. So now you are Aboriginal Jew. Oh Lord, Aboriginal
Mixed a
Jew.
whole lot of stuff, bro. They a lot of them claim that black Europeans, black people from over there went to Europe and they actually gave them the names like Williams and Johnson and all of that, Smith and all
But
that.
there's
That's
one
crazy.
thing. There's one thing.
Are you
Sorry, guys. There's
kidding? Are
one
you
thing.
serious?
Yes.
There's
That's
one
what
thing I'm big
that's
confused
I was
about,
trying
though,
to get
right?
y'all to let the dude keep talking because he was about to say where his surname came
Yeah.
from when brother asked him where his surname came from. These people are crazy.
Yeah, but who the hell want those corny ass name anyway? My name is Ellis. Who the hell want that goddamn name? That's a stupid slave name. I don't want it, but I have it.
Yeah.
I changed mine.
Just be proud
Not
to be
illegally,
black.
but I changed
I know
it
it's
though.
not. I know it's not easy. You know,
At least
it's
the
not
first
easy
name.
thing.
I
We've
asked my
been
dad,
through
I
a
said,
lot.
Dad, can I change our last name? He said, I don't care about this name. Yeah, you could change it.
Wait, who the hell care about his damn name?
Well,
West
you didn't
African, we're
ask
special
them.
people, man. We're
You didn't
very
name
special
yourself.
humans.
Somebody had
Let's
to
be proud.
name you. You didn't know your name, and you didn't know what you was when you was born.
Exactly.
And everybody on this panel is the same way. That's
Because
why I
we
keep
were
saying,
enslaved, so they gave us a damn name that we had to accept.
if
Just like they
people
gave us
But
a
look,
damn religion.
let's be honest.
we can
Let's be
learn
honest also
something
that
from each other.
let's be honest also that African tribes who don't want to be African. We have African
And then
tribes
they
that will
denied
claim.
the whole DNA.
Yeah,
DNA is
yeah.
not
1 second.
accurate.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So the African tribe
wow.
that don't want to be African. You have some tribe that
I
what
would
they claim
say,
Middle
I
East.
mean, I get what they're
You have
saying
some
when they
tribes.
say that,
Can you hear me?
I always defer
Shaw,
to.
hold on. I gotta mute Shaw. After Shaw, I don't think Shaw can hear us. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. We do have an ethnic group in West Africa also that want to be
Dynasty
Israelites.
muted me.
Yeah, because
I
I mean you were
always
talking.
defer
Shaw,
to
Africa was
somebody
talking.
else speaking.
Africa, yeah.
Yeah,
Shaw,
yeah. I
I
was
don't think
saying.
you can hear us, Shaw. Africa speaking.
Hello? Anybody else
Yeah.
speaking?
Yeah, he
your
can't
mic
hear us.
bugging, brother.
You gotta drop. Shaw,
I
you gotta
was.
drop off. Come back on.
Yeah, sorry.
All
Sorry,
right. Go ahead, Africa.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we do have low ethnic group in West Africa that don't want to associate themselves with the deep West African history. You know, some of them are like the Igbos like to claim to Israel, the Yoruba like to claim Mecca, the Fulani like to claim
That's
that
not
they have history.
hold on, Africa.
I
Let me
know,
stop
I
you
know,
there.
I know,
It's
I know,
only a
I
few,
know,
like a very small
Very few.
I know, I know,
few,
I
and
know,
like
very
we
few.
don't, and we
I
don't, and
know.
nobody takes those people serious. But go ahead. So that's
No,
not
no.
true.
I don't know. Somebody Fulani asked if they said they descended out of Moses. You know, some white people they think they came from Moses. So it's like they want to they don't associate themselves with anything else from some of them. Very tiny, I understand, I agree, other than being African. So we black people in general, globally, it's not just black Americans. So African Americans don't think we're picking on you guys, like the brother that just come over here claiming to be Brazilian. We understand there's a minority in our groups who always trying to be something else that they're not. And it's really embarrassing to this other race that you're trying to attach yourself to. It's very embarrassing. Let's be proud. We came from very special people. We have built kingdom and empires.
Africa. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
yes,
I feel what you're saying, but there's something that I need to really emphasize that maybe
yeah,
I haven't heard yet from people speaking. Maybe I can talk about it. You see,
yeah. Go on, Jerry.
the way I see black people, particularly we that were
Mm.
connected to slavery, we from Nigeria, Ghana, African Americans, you know what I mean? Like we that were directly connected.
Yeah.
I noticed
Hmm.
that African Americans, in as much as we can say, okay, yes, their African history was erased, I
Mm.
am still not compelled to believe that we that were even in Africa, we in that continent, we in so I'm Yoruba, for instance. I'm from Yoruba ethnic group, and I can
I
make
mean,
it
the
clear
term
that
Yoruba is a new. Chide, sorry, the term Yoruba is not even real, really, because Yoruba like the
absolutely
Ijebu and other group.
the real name
Yeah,
is Karo or Ojire, but that's even different. But
yeah.
that's even a
Thank
different
you.
topic. But the point
Yes.
is, we are not as African Americans. In as much we still have the language,
Very
we still
true.
have the aesthetics, we still have the language, the aesthetics, some of the symbols, right? But I still
Yeah.
believe that, and this is how I'm going to make my case easy, so everyone to understand
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we are still not more African than African Americans, and I will explain why. You see,
Yeah.
Africans, and this is also coming from immigrants that moved to the US. A lot of the
Yes.
immigrants that moved to the US, right? I mean, we come to chase greener pastures. You will say there's a disconnect to African Americans culturally, but you will notice that Africans themselves, they don't know as much of their civilization and their history. In addition to the fact that a lot of them are Christians or Muslims. It may sound controversial, but I have to say it.
No, that's fine. I agree with you.
We are Christians or Muslims, and we know more
Yes.
about the Bible, and this is a fact. Like we all know this
Yes.
among ourselves. We know more about the
Mm.
Bible and the Quran than even about Ifa or even about Yoruba philosophy or all that, right? These are things
Right.
I'm still learning. I'm learning first
Yeah.
to know all those things, just to understand it. So this is my point. If you look at Indians, for instance, and Indians in the diaspora, they know where they merge. They know where they connect. They can go to the temple, the world connects there. You understand? They have a
Yes.
spiritual point of view where they can all converge and share
I agree.
experiences and all that. The major problem that we have as black people, both in diaspora and even the continent, is we don't have that anymore. We don't.
No.
You understand? So
No.
we embrace all these foreign identities to try to be the most of those identities, to be assimilated into those identities. And that's one of the major things that's killing our group. That was one of the things that was one of, and this talking about Argentina, I don't want to digress now. That's a different topic. But
Please.
talking about one of the major things that actually led to the cleansing of black people of Argentina, apart from the systemic genocide, was also the fact that the upper black elites, they did not want to be African anymore. They were trying to be white. They were trying to chase after white supremacy. So the point is, all of us, we are all in the race to white supremacy, our Arab supremacy, to the point that we are no longer as African as each other anymore. So all you have is there's a disconnect. So you have those African Americans that want to be Pan-African. I learned a lot of my Pan-African ideology from African Americans. I didn't learn it from Nigerians. I learned it from African Americans. If I love my political understandings from African American intellectuals. So that's to tell you that we are not more African than them. In as much as, yes, they may have those English names, but the truth is, as African as an African that is in Africa, they are as African as a colonized African. And I have to talk about it because I hear things like they say, oh, we don't know our African names, and these Africans, are you guys still have your language? Language is just one part of a culture. There are many parts of the culture. If you look at China, I mean, I'll give an example. Where I used to work in the past, I don't want to mention the name of the company.
Host, can I say something?
Go on.
Yeah, let him just land quick.
Give me like 1 minute. I'm almost done. Let me just make this point. When they were doing Chinese Heritage Months, and you will see not just the aesthetics of China, you see the culture, you see so much of the culture, not just the aesthetics. But when it was Black History Month, I didn't see anything African. I only saw music. In fact, there was nothing. It was just aesthetics. There was nothing that enabled that commonality among us because it has been completely lost from us completely. And we are thinking of trying to assimilate Chinese people. They may do well at work, but they will always embrace their culture.
Host, can I say something?
I'll stop there. Thank you. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, thank you, Jide. That's why I like your school of thought. Thanks, you. It's nice to see you anyway, because you don't come here all the time. But I like your.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah. Always my brother, man. Always Jide. Thank you.
Can I say something?
Good.
Yes.
You got the floor.
What I'm hearing is I heard a lot, and I have a lot of respect from people from Africa, from the Caribbean, all over, even Hispanics. But the main thing I'm hearing is about their culture. Black culture is unique and different than any other culture in the world. The Black people in the United States have fought in every war of this country from the beginning of it. And they did not get the freedom they were promised, and they were put directly back into slavery. But yet they pushed through it. Even after Reconstruction, when Black people could elect senators and congressmen, the troops that were in the South were taken out by the Confederate president, and then that ended Reconstruction. Black people went directly into Jim Crow and the Black codes. So when you talk about culture, I'm sorry, the most powerful culture in this world is Black culture. We created the United States. The United States did not create us. And I have great respect for African people, but every conversation goes back to Africa. When I went to college in California. I had Black history. That Black history turned into African history, and they only taught African history. We are from this country. A gentleman earlier said that the names that we have, those slave names are almost 300 years old. So our ancestors died with those names. The respect that we give our ancestors is so important. I understand a lot of people that are African, they don't maybe like that because they call us slaves. They say that Black people in this country are not pure. But guess what? We are indigenous to this country. I'm not saying we Indians. I'm not saying we're African. We are indigenous. We built this country. Africans did not. And great respect to them. And the gentleman from the UK, I have a lot of respect for what you were saying because you spoke facts.
Thank you.
You think like a slave.
Well, you know what? The reason I think like a slave because you are a slave.
No, I'm gonna.
You can't substantiate that, but okay.
Look at that. The way you talking all low and stuff. Are you an immigrant?
Anybody that takes pride in a name that somebody put on you, that just conquering you and saying that you're their property.
Can I
that's
tell
nonsense.
you something?
Sir, you know what? That name belonged to our ancestors. I know you don't have respect for that, but because more than likely you're not from this country.
Thomas.
Well, that's nonsense. Our ancestors had no choice but to take their branding.
Sir,
it's like somebody branding you and taking it.
It's nonsense. It's nonsense when you come on a platform and you call people stupid in a debate. That means that you've already lost the debate.
When did I call you stupid?
You were calling other people stupid.
I said you think like a slave.
I listen to everything. Well, that word is demeaning, right? It's demeaning to say that to other people. So you think you made a point, but you're not debating. The only thing you're doing is being triggered.
I'm not trying. I said from the onset, I'm not trying to debate you.
You are triggered.
I'm not triggered.
Can I say something before you say that, bro? My thing is, this is what confused me about African Americans, right?
Here we go. It's not African Americans. It's
Well,
American.
indigenous Americans or Americans, whatever you want to call them.
African American.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
We are not. It does matter. We are not African Americans.
Well, no, what I'm saying, it doesn't matter to me. I will, whatever you want me to call you, I would call you.
Sir,
bro, whatever you want me to call you, I would call you.
Sir, when people come from Africa,
I'm telling you.
Let's
when people come from Africa,
whatever you want me to call you, I would call you.
Why?
My friends.
Nah, bro, y'all be too nice with these
my
people,
friends who are American, as you call themselves African Americans.
They do
my
not.
American friends, okay?
They do not.
What I said, bro, who the fuck you gonna tell me?
There you go.
These are my friends I grew up with.
I disagree
These are my
with you.
friends.
I disagree with you, and you started cursing.
I said my friends.
The majority of black people are not known as African American.
I said my friends.
The majority of black people are not African American.
I don't give a fuck what you say, bro.
Go ahead and cuss.
My friends.
Go ahead and cuss.
I said my friends.
Go ahead and cuss.
The ones that I grew up with. Right?
So you're
the organization, bro. Let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell
I want something
bro.
very paramount.
Let me finish with this dude first, man, bro.
African American, sir.
I don't know
African American,
bro. I don't know who you are.
African American came from Jesse Jackson.
Fine.
It came from Jesse Jackson.
Okay, fine. The ones that I grew up with, the ones that I meet, the organizations that I was in, right? They call themselves African American, but that's besides the point, right?
Go ahead and curse.
What I was gonna say is, right, the same name you have, right? The other people that was enslaved have those same names. Johnson, Ellis, you name it.
So what?
We grew up with those same names, so you're not special.
Yes, we are. We built this country. You didn't.
Oh man,
you did not build this country, bro. What you did, sir?
You hear what I said? I didn't say about country. I didn't say about building country.
What you did, you fled your country to come over here to get the advantages of what black people died for. And now you got the audacity.
I didn't fled nothing, bro. I didn't fled nothing.
Yes, you did, sir.
Nothing.
Of course you did.
I didn't fled nothing.
You fled your country.
Who owned the country? White people, right?
Who
owned my country?
Hey,
who owned it? What country?
Do this.
Who owned
do
it?
This. If you didn't flee,
you're a dumbass, bro. You're a dumbass.
There you go. You're getting pissed. If you didn't flee,
dumbass.
If you didn't flee, go back to the country and build it.
Build what? Who tell you need building?
Go build it. Go back and build it.
Who tell you need building?
Sir, you fled your country to come here to get the benefits.
From where?
You fled your country. You
How
fled.
How did I fled? How did I fled? How?
You here, aren't you? You fled.
How did I get here?
How'd you get here? You fled.
I fled. So I got on a plane and took a plane here, right?
Yep.
At 7 years old.
Hey, sir, let me tell you something about fleeing. Fleeing is that it doesn't matter about your age. It matters about your parents. Your parents fled for you to come here.
Was the Great Migration of fleeing?
Who owned our country, dude?
Was the Great Migration fleeing?
Huh?
Say what?
And in the 1800s, when black people left here, black people left here, when in the 1700 and 1800, when black people left here, did they flee also?
Sir, let me answer that guy's question.
Answer that question.
He said the great.
That left here.
He said the great migration. The great migration were black people moving from the south to the north. All those people were Americans. So how can they flee?
But why were the reasons they were leaving the south or the north? They were leaving to escape violence and better opportunities economically.
Sir, they were leaving.
The same reason why people leave. The same reason why people leave Haiti, that America is destabilizing actively, and Jamaica as well, that the UK and Anglo-Saxon establishment destabilizing.
Exactly. The same people own the same country that own you, bro. The same people.
Look at here, but it's still my country. It's still my country, it's not yours.
It doesn't matter. The same people own it.
That's the whole reason we have this conversation, because it matters.
You think like a slave, brother.
I know. But guess what? The slave built the country that your parents fled from.
It's a slave, like Malcolm X said. Only a slave would, when the master got sick, he say,
It's a we
Master
stick.
Boss, we
We
sick.
stick.
You
We stick.
identifying with the same slave masters
Yep.
concepts, brother. You need to
Malcolm
really get
X.
well. You old. You
Malcolm
just late in
X.
the game
Sir,
now, but
sir, Malcolm X. He's separated from Africans. He complete separation. Just,
bro, you
just
you
like,
The
sound
hell he
crazy,
just
did
bro.
like,
not.
You don't know what you're
just
He
talking
like,
did
about.
not. You boy, use the
But he
ignorant,
started the
man.
Organization of African Unity. What are you
he
talking about? That
fled.
was his last endeavor before he passed.
Sir,
You don't
sir,
even know what you're
are
talking
you an
about.
immigrant? Sir, are you an immigrant?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, yeah,
You,
I'm an immigrant.
yeah,
I am an
yeah, you
immigrant.
an
Yeah, I'm
immigrant.
an
That's the
immigrant.
problem.
I'm
The
an
problem
immigrant.
is on these podcasts, when we have these arguments
Then
or
don't come on this
conversations.
podcast, dude. Don't come on here.
The
Nah, but
problem, the
it
problem with these
don't.
podcasts is it should be a
Don't come on the
conversation.
podcast.
It should be,
Don't come.
it should be a conversation
Don't
about black people.
go on the
It
indigenous
should be,
podcast. Go on the
it should be.
FBA
Why?
podcast.
Why? Why?
Go on the FBA podcast.
Why? I'm telling the truth.
You say
You
you don't
fled
want
your
to be on here.
country.
Go get off here.
You fled your country. And so
I
you're
mean,
doing
what
now.
does
You
that
fleeing
mean,
now.
though? That's
The only thing I have to say is
a
this.
human phenomenon is going to go to places where the
Yeah,
resources
yeah,
and
yeah,
access to
whatever,
capital
whatever.
is
Sir,
readily
you
available.
sound as though that you do not have an education. You talk this
Look,
stupidity, and you're an immigrant. You don't even know
brother,
anything about your own
I'll be
country.
brother.
You come to
Listen,
somebody else's
brother.
country to tell them how they should act and who they are. What
Bro,
kind of
what are you
nonsense is
talking?
that?
Who's saying
You
how?
know what?
When did I
It's
ever
like this.
determine how
It's
you
like
should
this.
act? I'm just calling out how you act. I'm not saying how you should act. I'm just
How
saying
I
how you
act. How
do
do you
act.
know? How do you know
I
how I
mean,
act?
it
You
would
know me?
behoove you not to think like a
How do
slave,
I
but
act? How do I act?
you act
You
like a
don't know me.
slave based upon your sentiments
Sir,
today.
guess what? My family grew up in the South. They built the South. Your family built where? Jamaica or some other island?
Look, brother.
Look, man.
My family
Look,
was forced. My family was forced to work in citrus plantations in Plaquemine Parish, Louisiana. I don't. This
you
is not my
fled.
country. This is
You
not their
fled.
country.
You fled. That's what
So
you did. You fled.
you think like a slave. They've
Yeah,
created a concept and
you
you've
still
adopted it
fled.
because
No matter what
you
you say,
ascribe
you fled. You
power
fled your
to it.
country. You fled your country to come to another country and to talk down on the people that built the country. What that tell you?
Nah,
That would
my
never,
ancestors
sir.
fled from
That
my ancestors
your
fled from
ancestors fled.
Louisiana because they wanted
Your
access to more
ancestors
economic
fled.
opportunities.
Here you go again. You fled. That's what you did.
Yeah,
They
On up
but
fled
to
from
it.
first of all, who
they
said
fled from
anybody was
Southeast
talking down on
Louisiana to
anybody?
gain more access to economic
Well,
opportunities and
I
access
know
to
this. I
capital.
know this. The only reason you here is because of black people. If you remove black people from this country, these white supremacists would beat your
Nah,
butt.
the only reason why I'm here is because of greedy Eurasian capitalism. That's the only
Oh,
reason why
okay.
I'm
There you
here.
go. There you go. You fled from there. You fled from there instead of staying and building your country.
Nah, I was one of my
I
ancestors
don't
got
know.
captured. That's how I
Bro,
came over
anyway,
here.
let's get back to this. You know
No,
what?
you get back to
Originally I
nothing.
came
Bro.
Not
on,
even
Nobody
one
listen
of
to your
them.
sir.
ass.
Multiple of my ancestors got
Originally I
captured.
came on just to say one thing, is that in 1790 the guy said, I guess, that when they first had the census, that census was the dark skinned Indians and the black slaves, and the only reason they lumped them people together was to take land for the white people. That's the only reason they did it. And to say 388,000 people from Africa, there's no way in the world that could turn it to 50 million people. I mean,
It
it's not
is.
math. It makes no sense.
Are you aware of the inter-American slave trade? Also aware of the breeding farms? Also, just with population increase, when scientific advances, industrial advances, and nutrition
Okay.
advances.
Hey, the people
I
on
mean,
the
that's
chat.
just regular population growth.
People on the chat, listen to this. This guy just said 388,000 people turning into 50 million people within two centuries. That
Yes,
makes no sense.
that's plausible. That's extremely plausible.
It did happen. It's not plausible it happened. It happened because
Yes.
it's written down. You know, they tell me, sir, they tell me if it's not written down, it didn't happen. So you can say, oh, the white man did this and the white man did that. The white man want money. He wanted that money. That's why he incorporated those black Indians with those black slaves to take their land. You say you from the South, right?
Have you ever been an original?
Sir,
They did
Have you ever
that
been
by
an
force.
origination?
Why would they need to create some type of pseudo I guess identity narrative, bro? They just did it by force. They had better technology and better and stronger militaries at the time. That's just
because it's
what
legal.
happened.
Because everything in America is built by the legal system.
You know
That's
how
it.
many treaties they broke with the Native Americans?
Well,
With
guess
the quote
what?
unquote Native Americans?
Guess what? The quote
Like
unquote.
that doesn't mean anything. They just have
The
the power.
quote.
They have the military might.
The
That's
quote
all that
unquote.
matters at the end of the day.
The Native Americans were slaveholders. That should tell you everything you want to know. During the Civil War, those Native Americans, they fought against the United States, and they had slaves. So I don't give a shit about no Native Americans. They were worse than these white people.
Brother, this your mindset is contradictory and cognitive dissonant. Like, brother,
Well, you don't give a shit.
you're
I
gonna
thought he was Native
castigate
American.
Europeans. You're gonna castigate
refuse,
Europeans on
sir,
one hand, but
sir,
then you're
Bro,
gonna
didn't you say you're Native American?
adopt the concept that they created and the identity that they gave you. That doesn't make any sense.
Yo,
Learn some history before you open your mouth. Sorry, before you open your mouth, learn some history. Let me ask you a question, sir.
Are you a Native American? Yes or no?
Sir, can I ask you a question?
Are you a Native American?
Can I ask you a question?
Are you a Native American?
Ask you one. I'll answer that when you answer my question, sir. Did you heard something called the Homestead Act?
Yes.
Yeah.
What was it?
The Homestead Act is when they took land through eminent domain.
They took it. They gave it. They didn't take anything. They gave it. They gave those land to immigrants coming from Europe. The black people who were newly freed, they couldn't get that land. So everything is legal. In this United States, everything has to be legal. You mentioned earlier about the slaves and the Indians.
Are you indigenous to this land? Yes or no?
You mean was I born here? Yeah.
No.
But you said indigenous. You said
your
indigenous.
people. Your people. Are you Native? Are you the Native American? I'm confused.
Be quiet. You mentioned earlier about Louisiana. My family came from Arkansas. For generations.
Okay, so you're native to this land, right? You're indigenous to this land.
I was born here. Yes.
No, you're not answering the question.
Sir, you know what?
Your ancestors so who are the Native Americans? Who are the Native Americans?
You said who are they?
Right. Those people you said
Native Americans.
Who are them?
Sir, the Native Americans in this country, they were what you call the $5 Indians and those dark complexion Indians. You realize what a $5 Indian is, right?
No, what's a $5 Indian?
A $5 Indian is any white man that says he's an Indian, he becomes an Indian. And it was legal. I'm telling you about the legal system. This legal system was set up to stop black people. It was not set up to stop Africans and Caribbeans and all these other people. It was meant to stop us.
Brother, look, bro. But you still, the legal system that they created was designed to stop you, but you still will adopt the identity that they gave you. The same legal system.
What identity? The black people in this country were forced into that. So you realize what slavery is? Slavery is something that meant you were a slave from the moment you were born until you died. Not only that, your kids were slaves. So what do you mean that we accept? Black people never accepted that. You losing your mind.
No,
that's
you
what
are.
I mean.
Brother, you are accepting identity. You are calling yourself an American.
I want to be
no quote unquote indigenous tribe that was from quote unquote North America or the South America adopted no American term, brother. That's just not.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You are adopting an identity and a concept that they created, and then you're going to castigate them on the other hand.
Well, I tell you what, sir.
Contradictory.
I tell you what, sir. Sir. I understand what you're saying, but I tell you this: if you were a slave back in those days, going through what those people went through, your ass would get on your knees and adopt it. You talking that crap now because you out of that time period. If you were in that time period, excuse me,
many people fall.
If you were in that time period, you wouldn't be so nonchalant about this. Oh well, you accepted this, and that's on you. That's what these Africans saying. Not all Africans. Some of these Caribbeans say the same thing. They don't realize that the country that they came from, all the countries that they came from.
So why are you still adopting the identity?
Adopting what? Why are you saying that?
The identity of an American.
Okay, well let's do this. Let's agree among all of us. We're gonna go in and fight the white man. But guess what? When we go fight that white man, the only people gonna fight him are black Americans. Ain't gonna be no Caribbeans and Africans. Because they coming. Excuse me. You brought it up. You brought it up. Because the only reason those people are coming here.
That's a lie, bro. Ain't no contemporary black Americans finna fight nobody, bro.
Sir, the only reason you
each other, bro.
The only reason you coming here is get the benefits. You are not coming here to fight.
But black people fight every day. Anybody's coming over here,
like you,
to get the benefits.
You're an immigrant. That's why you're here.
But brother, if the dollar were to fall and stop being a reserve currency tomorrow, Black Americans will be on the first thing smoking out to the place that has the best economy, bro. If they
There
do it.
goes the lie, because but black people are not immigrants. You are immigrant. You're gonna get deported. Black people can't be deported because of that 14th Amendment. That
No,
was
I'm
written for the
not.
slave children.
I'm willingly deporting
Hey,
myself.
guys,
That's
real quick.
what's
Go,
happening.
go. I mean, all I hear.
I gotta read these super chats. Babaliko 9354. Thank you for Tanella Holla. I'm from the Caribbean. I always mark black. Thomas is talking nonsense. All gas, no brakes. 123. Thank you for 999 holla. They always talk about the white $5 Indian, but they never talk about the freed slaves who integrated to Native American tribes. No different than a Jewish convert. Babaliko 9354. Thank you for $5 holla. Dynast. It do have black Jews. Look up African map from the 1500. You'll see land of the Judah. Oh Lord, here we go. I appreciate the money. I appreciate the money though. Appreciate it. Mushroom 3368. Thank you for $2 holla. Africa, bro. No African forcing Black America to change. Babaliko 9354. Thank you for $4 holla. He said we built this country. African don't build this country, but hold on, that dope that came off the boat from Africa. I'm confused.
Africans did not build this country. That's nonsense. It's historical. Just look up the historical fact. You would not hear one person say they were African that built this country, because they actually didn't know what an African was. But the only thing I'm saying, sir, is this, and I'm gonna get away from this because I know you guys, you into this pan-African stuff, which is good. Because at one time, I was a pan-African, and still, and until these people from the motherland and the Caribbean came to telling me I'm in my own country, telling me you are not pure, we are pure. I'm like, what the hell? You just an African that had a country that was colonized. Your countries only came into effect until the 60s. All your countries were named by white people.
Somebody from the Caribbean tell you that you're that.
Like I just said, young man, I'm trying to give you some facts. That happened. I don't come on here just talk stupidity.
But if that happened to you, you should have just blew that off because that's nonsense. Ain't nobody from the Caribbean.
Sir, let me ask you a question. When Caribbeans and Africans say nigger, what does that word mean?
Anybody that says the N word is a buffoon to me.
Thank you. The majority of people, the majority of people from Africa, if you call them a nigger, they say, no, I'm from Africa.
I mean, nobody should be cool.
So you just said it though, right? And you said whoever says they're a buffoon. What I'm saying is this: for black people to finally get to the point in time where we can hold some power, you have to teach the people in your countries, even the people coming here, teach them history. Then they'll stop talking about this nonsense about black people in this country. They have no culture. They have no history, which is crazy. Because the only reason you hear is because of black people. Black people died for this. All the civil rights acts were passed in 65, 64. White people didn't want no Europeans, no Asians, and the people at the bottom were Africans. They did not want Africans in this country because black people were already here. And Martin Luther King, he fought for the right for these Africans to come over here.
Yeah, you see what Thomas said. What Thomas said is what I said before. If Black Americans use the word indigenous to mean that they were here before the country was established, then that is a valid use of saying I'm indigenous to this country. He's not saying he's a Native American. He's saying he's indigenous to this country.
He is saying he's a Native American, brother, because he just said
I didn't say that. See, that's the problem with people. They lie.
You said that
I did not say
Black
that.
Indians.
Excuse me, sir. The guy asked me. That guy retracting it. Sir, the guy asked me. He asked me, was I indigenous? I said I was born here.
Right. Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Hold on, Sid. Hold on. Invisible man, do you believe not invisible? I'm sorry, Thomas. Do you believe your ancestors came to America via slavery from Africa?
I think there's a possibility. But I'm just saying, the 388,000 people is not mathing to 50 million people. There's no way for all these men to have that much sex.
When you say possibility, what do you mean?
It means that 388,000. I'm sorry, I just got an alert.
You need to study population and demographic growth, brother.
You asked me, can I answer the question? So there were 388,000 Africans that came to the United States, right? The majority of those slaves went to South America. Is that a
That's
fact?
true. That's a
Okay,
fact.
they went to, wait a minute, they went to Brazil, right?
Correct.
So there's a direct connection because they have more people there, and they had the people to by word of mouth to pass down where they came from. They know probably where they came from. And a lot of people say Africa, but in America, black slaves in this country were cut off from everything, reading, writing, or whatever. So they know all this stuff. They had to start something new. Now, when you say indigenous, if you're saying starting something, if you're saying starting something new in a country,
When
the
Nana
only
come,
people
God,
that have
you
ever
guys
did
gonna
that
take some
are
time
black
to eat,
people.
and then after that, we're gonna fold clothes. Okay.
The only people
You
that
feel good?
started a culture in this country were black people. Nobody else. If you
Okay, so
talk to people all over the world, I'm sorry, if you talk to people all over the world and they ask about a culture in America, they say black culture. They will never say
Bro.
white culture.
Right. So let me get back to
Brother,
my
you flipped
point.
your sentiments during
Let
this
me finish.
conversation, though.
Let me finish my points. One is that when black people say they have Native American, Indian in them, you know, it might come from this fact. I have two great grandmothers on the Dawes rolls. I've actually seen the Dawes rolls from the doing my ancestry research at the Daughters of the American Revolution Library in Washington, D.C. So even though my DNA doesn't come up and say that I have Native American ancestry, I do have grandmothers that are on the Dawes roll. So that may be why there's some confusions, regardless of the fact that there is no Native American DNA that's showing up in me. And then I want to just end my thing with this. I said earlier
Were they? Are they free? Were they freedmen?
I don't even know. I
Okay,
don't know. They were
well
on
then
the
that would explain it then. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't even know. But let me finish by saying this. That I said my father whipped me, and I was given an example of that. But me and a friend of mine about 3 years ago, we were laughing because we both said that our fathers really whipped us, and we never joined gangs because we were more afraid of our fathers than any gang member. I know that has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, yes, it did. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Strong black men, real strong black men, know how to stand on their own because of their fathers.
Yep.
That's all I wanted to say.
That's a fact, though.
And I love my father. So I don't
that's a
want
fact.
anybody to misunderstand what I was trying to say. My father was a great man, put me in a great position.
Yep. You know what? And the other point on that is our fathers. Some black people have fathers, believe it or not. But those fathers that stayed and took care of their families, we should drop down our knees every day that they did that. Yeah. Because the way society is formulated, that they're trying to demean the black males. They say they're not important. They haven't created anything, haven't built anything, haven't done anything. And all that stuff was coming from white people. But then when I start hearing this from Africans and Caribbeans, I'm saying, well, whoa, what's going on? Is there some kind of conference call that you people own, that these white people are telling you to repeat these white supremacist talking points?
Hey, Thomas, can I ask a question? Do you participate in politics at all here in America?
Here in America, my family was denied the vote, and I was alive to see it in '65. Once we moved, let me finish. When they moved from the South to the North, then they were able to vote for the first time ever. A lot of black people voted for the first time ever by people that said that they were going to give them benefits, and they never did. That's why they vote Democratic.
So, Thomas, what do you vote? Thomas, what do you vote?
What vote now?
Yes.
Since the last election, where I live now, the majority in this state are Hispanics. When Harris ran for president, I did not support Harris, but I was not gonna vote for Trump. Once they came here and they had the vote in Arizona, all these Hispanics, they voted for Trump, even though the only reason they're in this country is because of the Democratic Party. The Republicans don't want them in this country at all. And the group that's the main part of the Democratic Party are black people. Without black people, there would not be a Democratic Party.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. You need to be a politician the way you answer questions, man.
But you know what? I love talking to you guys because I didn't mean to come on here earlier talking about Africans and Caribbeans like they Martians. They're not. They are brothers. But the only thing I'm saying is teach your brothers history of this country. Black people in this country have been through hell. We were not supposed to survive, but we survived anyway.
All right, let me pass the mic to Universal Truth Sheridan. I gotta close out.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Well, you didn't let
All
me
right.
talk, Dennis, and you gonna
Okay.
close out.
My bad, Big Black.
Let this. You got it, brother. You go ahead. You go in
Yeah,
front of
my
me,
bad,
brother.
Big
All
Black.
good.
I forgot. Big Black, you haven't. But hold on, Big Black, you haven't spoken at all.
No, what? You let me back on since you let me back on.
But have you spoke?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
other
Well, you
guy
spoke
just
already.
spoke.
Let the new person spoke. You already
Oh,
spoke.
yeah, but you're gonna close. You said you was gonna close out after
Okay.
that.
After him, you can
All
speak.
right,
Go ahead,
brother.
Universal
I'll
Truth
be
Sheridan.
quick. Yeah. Basically, history is all around the globe. History does not only lie at the doorstep of the United States of America. So, so history is in Africa. History is all over the globe, like I said. So, I think for a lot of us, when we think of history, we think, oh, an immigrant come to this country, and then all of a sudden they're exposed to history. That's not true. That is not true. So anybody who does that is going to go ahead and just keep shooting themselves in the foot by saying, by confusing themselves. On one end, they're going to say, okay, we're indigenous. On the other end, they're going to say, well, only a few people came from the boat, came from the slave ships. Things are not going to make sense. Y- y- If somebody want to
Can I
jump
say?
in,
Can I say one more thing? When people come from the boats, they come from other countries to this country. That is the highest percentile of those countries. It's not the lowest. When those people come to this country and they're in the job market, of course they're going to get those jobs because they have degrees and they have connections. The majority of black people don't have that, especially the lower class black people. So instead of making differences in people, and I'm trying not to make differences, I'm just saying people need to learn history because history is something that it's only going to be repeated. If you keep ignoring it, it's going to be repeated.
well, yeah.
Buddy,
I
you
mean,
didn't address anything he said.
okay, yeah. Let me jump
There
back
you
in.
go
Okay,
again.
thank you for that clarity. Thank you for that clarity.
No,
But
I'm sorry. You had a point, but I don't know. My mind is going now, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, no, all good, man. All good. Yeah, I think we're conflating two different points. There is an overall history that I was saying, and then there are specific history to people groups, right? So we can say the African American, the black folks here, they have their specific history. The ones who came from the slave ship, who descendants came from the slave ships and all of that, and then who some were with the indigenous people. Sure, I'll give you that. That's specific history. So, but that history is subjugated. It's it's a history of oppression, basically, which falls right in line with many others in the diaspora, with others on the continental African, you know, countries, because we've all been oppressed. We've all been oppressed by we know by who. Now, somebody can say there was tribal wars and this and that in the third, sure, but we never had the kind of chattel slavery and oppression that they've put forth since the 1400s. Since Dom Diversas, with the Catholic Church, so on and so forth. We've never had that. So, that's a unique experience that has been propagated all over the globe, really. But more specifically, we see it in the Americas. But it's not only unique to the Americas. It's been done all over the globe. It's just it's well documented in the Americas, which is why when African Americans, Black Americans walk away from documented history, as far as the slave ships where the majority of those folks came in. Sure, we had folks here before Columbus came. That's a given, and they were dark skinned. That's a given, and they were called Indios. They were different from the Hindustans, because history tells us the way they call the people from the East Indians, they call them Hindustans. But when they came over here, they call them people in God, Indios, right? So that history is long forgotten, but we do have some little bit of wreckage that's been exposed to tell us that there were millions. There were tons of people here before Columbus came. They wiped them out. They were wiped out, and we don't have enough documentation to know how many there were, but we know it wasn't a few thousands. And we also know that the Bering Strait history that they've given us is not accurate, because we also know I'll try to find the book here. There was an East Asian slave trade where they brought people, the Hispanics, the Portuguese, they brought people from the Philippines, the people that when you go down to Peru, you see they all have slanted eyes, those people all over North, South America, the ones we call indigenous, many of them were brought here and dropped over in Mexico. Okay, so that's also documented history. So I think because a lot of people don't know these different facets of history, we tend to conflate all of them, and then now we've got people, secret society. I don't want to say that. We got people from different societies that have given us talking points, so we can go at it and fight at each other and say silly things like that not all people came from Africa. Everybody came from Africa, regardless if they were indigenous to this land or not, if they would be here before Columbus or not. They came from Africa. They got on boats. They came over here eventually. And I could tell you even more about other history. Like if you read the book of Esdras, which Columbus, he documents in his diaries that they read Esdras. They knew that people had gotten on ships and come over here. Okay. So that's documented history that a lot of people don't read, just like they don't read the book of Jubilees. They don't read the book of Joshua. They don't know about the history of the.
Where are these books?
Oh, what the Book of Jubilees is right. You can go online and look at it. Like
I
the
mean, but
Ethiopian.
who wrote it? Like, what is it?
What do you mean? Who wrote it?
Who wrote the Book of Jubilees?
Moses. Moses wrote the Book of
Oh,
Jubilees.
God, Lord Jesus. Okay.
You
Go
don't
ahead,
have it?
sir.
I mean, read the Book of Jubilee. It'll tell you from the very beginning who wrote it.
Moses never existed.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that's new. I mean, that's
Well,
an opinion.
it's not new. It's just there's no archaeological proof that any of these characters in the Bible, like Moses, Abraham, they never existed. I mean, it's just.
Oh, wow. So you're saying the book just came up? The writings just came up by themselves?
No, I mean, it's like Lord of the Rings. I mean, they had authors, but it doesn't mean it's real.
They had authors, but it's not
Yeah,
real.
like Harry Potter. I mean, like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. I mean,
So you're saying, let me repeat what you're saying. So you can correct me. Make sure I get it
What
right.
I'm saying is the Bible is not historical fact.
How so?
What do you mean, how so? There's no archaeological proof. You can't use the Bible to have this actual factual historical debate.
Okay, let me respond to you. Can I respond to you?
Go ahead.
Okay. The Bible mentions civilization. So you tell me that this civilization that the Bible mentioned do not attest?
Again, Harry Potter took place in a real city. Does that mean Harry Potter is real?
So in the Bible mentions slavery. You saying that slavery didn't exist?
I never. Okay, again, listen to what I said. Listen.
Yeah, I mean, my goodness, brother. The
No,
Bible
again,
I'm talking about you, man.
Wow.
Listen to what I said. Where did Harry Potter the story take place?
The story of Harry Potter is something new in England, man. Come on.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But is Harry Potter a real non-fictional story, non-fictional character?
All right, let me give you.
So that's my point. I mean, you can mention slavery, you can mention cities, but that does not mean the characters and the stories are real.
It's a concoction of Levantine mythology, brother. You taking the Bible serious in 2026 is crazy.
Okay. Let me respond. I understand you make those statements and they sound funny and all of that, but that's
it's not sounding funny. That's how you sound.
Okay, the top Bible scholar in the world, Bart Ehrman, will tell you that majority of the stuff it is fictitious.
The top Bart Ehrman is who you go to? Oh my goodness!
I mean, he's the top. He's considered objectively a top 3, top 2, top 1, that top biblical scholar.
By whom? Confirmation bias? By whom? Keep going.
I mean, it's not confirm. It's not. He one thing he says that I still don't agree with. He attests the historical validity of the Jesus, the Christ, but. I mean, I would disagree with that, but still, he established that, but he's still the top biblical scholar.
So the top Bible scholar, which you agree with, but then you don't agree with because he attests to the fact that the historical Yahusha, the Jesus word is a whole different thing. But let's go on Jesus. Okay, let's take your Jesus. The top Jesus existed. which the Jesus who existed confirmed, Moses existed, confirmed, Abraham
Nah,
existed.
that's not
But you
true.
telling
That's
me, but
that's just historic. That's not how you conduct historical research. An attestation of a later figure that could be historically attested to does not validate everything that came before just because a book mentions it, brother. That's just nonsense. That would be
yeah,
juvenile to use that tactic historically.
yeah, I was just trying to expose the domino effect of the absurdity that you will say Jesus existed or
He
but
did. He
Herman.
did. He didn't. He didn't
Nah,
exist. He didn't exist.
he doesn't exist in the capacity in the Bible. It could have been a historical figure. Yeah, there's validity to that. Tacitus has attestations of him, even though it was years later. But there's historical attestations of the person. What I'm saying is the person that walked on water and multiplied fishing. That's nonsense.
Okay. Hey, because you guys are not equipped to have that discussion, so what I'm gonna say, if Jesus was
Nah,
black,
you ain't. You ain't
Nah, what do
equipped
you
to have
mean we
it.
not equipped?
You ain't equipped to have it.
You not equipped.
because you want to dismiss every other historical documentation, just like I'm
There's
trying to
no
talk about.
historical
There's no historical
documentation.
attestation of no Moses, no Abraham. I didn't detest anything from the quote unquote Jesus figure. I'm talking about the other thing in the stories, brother. You being a grown man and believing somebody parted a 2,500 mile deep sea, bro, and made it across without being captured, even if the story was even plausible. Like this is just nonsense. Somebody being swallowed by a
Okay.
whale
I understand. I
and
understand.
regurgitated alive. Come
Yeah.
on, bro.
I understand. You have a strong feeling about that. But the Roman civilization attested to the fact that Jesus existed. There was a Messiah. That the Hebrews existed.
Where did the Romans attest to that? Where?
Let me give it to you since you
Nah,
asked.
there
I'm
are
glad you asked.
attestations of a Jesus. They didn't say none of the stuff that you did, though. I'm
You
not.
ask a question. Let me ask it.
Nah,
Somebody
I
ask you a
didn't know.
question.
You're attacking things that no. That's a straw man fallacy. I just
Let
said
me
that
give you the Romans. No, don't
it's
stop me.
historical consensus that it does existed based upon the sources. So
Okay,
I'm not saying
you
that.
said the
I'm
Romans did
saying
not.
his
Let me
actions
give you the
according to the
Romans.
Bible.
Let me give you the Romans. Let me give you. Okay, you said the Bible did not exist, and I'm telling you, other civilization that confirm the Bible, confirm characters of the Bible, and then now you want to get upset. Come on now.
Okay, no,
What other
list
civilization?
Okay, let me
list
give
the
it to you.
specific ones.
Okay, we got the Roman historian Tacitus,
I
Josephus.
mentioned Tacitus already. You
Okay,
must be googling stuff.
no, I'm not good. Okay, well, you can say whatever you want. But Josephus is another one.
Josephus,
Eusebius.
interpolator, yes. I mean, bro, what you're doing right now is really unnecessary because I just said it's historical consensus that a Jesus figure existed. The crux of the matter is he didn't exist as far as the Bible portrays, bro. That's the thing. So, did he drop off?
I don't know, but go ahead, Big Black. In fact, let me read the super chat and Big Black will close out. Dress Scott Oswald Bates, thank you for 11.99 euros. Dress Scott 1857, a free Negro of the African race whose ancestors were brought to this country and sold as slaves is not a citizen with the meaning of the Constitution of the United States. Okay.
Okay. The brother.
Oh, go ahead, Big Black. We gotta close out.
One of the African brothers said this before, but I hate when people use that "we are all African" thing. You're talking about Black African Americans that come directly from West Africa, West of Sister Africa, versus people that have changed genetically due to the environment they were in, right? They changed through pretty much weather conditions, right? As far as like the genetics, we haven't changed due to weather conditions, so you can't compare that. You can't compare that. Also, the guy Thomas, I don't understand you because you say you used to be a Pan African. Okay, the guy
I was a Pan African until the African people that I were in class with, they started telling me that they were pure and I wasn't.
Okay,
so I walked away from it.
Close his mic. The guy that just came on.
What did you guys hear live?
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, what I'm saying is that at one time you did believe that we came from Africa as far as like the African Americans, and just because some continental African that had a colonized mentality, lowbrow, guy that came from a continent, was acting uppity, you change your whole belief.
Can I ask you a question, sir? That term African American, you know where it started?
And it started with Jesse Jackson. I know.
No, it went all the way back to Marcus Garvey.
No, it goes further than Marcus Garvey.
So it goes back and it goes. Wait a minute. It goes back to the 1920s.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. We had people that were calling institutions African, like the Free African Society, back in the 1800s. So, it goes further back than that. Also, let me ask you this real quick. What is the end game, for the Indians? Because you have to have an end game. What is the end game? Because when I look at it like this, as far as you say this is our country, right? Or this is our land. If you were so true blue about that, why isn't there any big movement in trying to get our land back?
Excuse me?
You say that this is our land, right? We were here first, so this is our land.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So if you really felt true blue about that, why haven't there been any big movements, no black movements are getting our quote unquote land back?
Okay, can I answer that for you? I don't mean to be, ignorant or sound stupid, but you are aware that after Reconstruction, black people had all these cities that they built. It was all based on white society.
I'm talking about our country.
Wait a minute. Wait. What happened to all those cities?
Sir, you just made up a straw man, which is cool.
A straw man, but it's true. It's history.
Well, you're not answering my question.
I did.
The question is, if this is supposed to be our land, right? Usually, when somebody comes to colonize the people, right, the people say get up enough power courage to say we want our land back. Why hasn't that been a big movement in Black America concerning getting our land back? If this was our land.
So you do realize, and you're trying to ignore history. You do realize that black people after Reconstruction, they had everything. They had everything that white society had.
That's not answering my question.
But what happened was
we were controlling this land. The people. Well, United States as a whole. You're talking about.
I'm just trying to teach them history. If you want to learn some history, if you know the history, sir. If you know the history, as
a whole, sir.
Sir, if you know
the whole United States, right?
Sir, if you know history, then you know that oh my God, you know what? That's why I told you earlier. If you don't study history, it's gonna be repeated over and over again.
Sir, you're talking about different towns here and there. Don't even when we had those different towns here and there, white people had way more towns. What I'm asking you is, if you truly believe white people had way more towns than us, am I lying?
Sir, what you're talking about, you're using white supremacist talking points.
No, I'm not.
It's the same thing. Well, let me give you a comparison. Let me give you a comparison. Sir, let me give you a comparison. Can I give you a comparison right quick?
Why are you not answering my question, though?
I will. Sir, I'll answer your question. Let me answer your question. Hey, have you ever played the game Monopoly?
I haven't. Yeah, I played.
You haven't played it. You don't know what it is. In that game, it's fictional, but in that game, everybody's supposed to have all these pieces that are equal. And depending on how smart you are or dumb you are, you're going to keep whatever you have on that board or not. The majority of white people have always been on that Monopoly game. Black people have never been able to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. And that's the white supremacy talking points that people, I'm not trying to point at you, but that you just repeated a white supremacist talking point. Black people had over 20 cities in the South that were destroyed by white people.
So you just
so you saying that black people didn't fight, but black people still fight.
No,
they fight to this day.
I never said that. I know about that term. I know about the slave rebellion.
Right? No, you don't. You don't know about it. Was not a slave rebellion. It was not a slave rebellion.
That was Red Summer. That was Red Summer. Not the slave
it was not. It was not a slave rebellion. If you know anything about history in this country,
didn't have the slave rebellion.
Sir, if you know anything about the history in this country, you will know not only after the Civil War, these white people were just destroying these black people, murdering, raping, and everything else. It happened all the way up into the 50s.
So you did not answer my question.
And now you say,
right now,
you know what?
Right now, you know that this is supposed to be our country. Why aren't you saying we're going to get our country back? Why aren't you saying that right now? Presently,
the people,
right now.
Sir, the people that fight white supremacy.
I'm talking about you right now.
Sir.
Now.
How do you know? How do you know I'm not doing that?
You haven't said nothing about that since you've been here.
You're the first time.
People that
Sir,
been
it's the first.
colonized and they're still colonized said that
Sir,
we want our
sir,
country back.
you know what I did?
There's still a fight.
Do you know what I did? You know what I
There
did?
hasn't been any fight that's in
Sir,
Black
so
history,
you know what I
Black
did?
American history, in our
Sir,
history.
sir,
in
just
our
don't get
history,
triggered.
there hasn't been any fight that say
Sir.
that, you know what, African Americans want America back. There hasn't been any fight. If there is,
Are you okay? Are you okay? How in the heck, sir? How in the heck do you expect 50 million people to fight over to 300 million people in this country that are white supremacists?
Sir, it don't matter.
You're not serious, right?
Hold on. Let me get in.
Hold on. We have fought.
Bro, you ain't serious. You can't be serious.
We never fought with the underlying mentality that we're fighting to get our country back in this country.
Enough of that nonsense. Okay.
No, it's not.
Hey,
it's the truth.
hey, enough of that nonsense. Hey, stop. Okay. You can stop right there, man. Hey, this is man. You're giving. This is why a lot of Black people and African Americans speak against immigrants and people who just get here, because a lot of you guys don't study history and you refuse. Yeah, because if you're an immigrant,
you just said all the characters in the Bible are real. I can't take you serious.
Oh my God!
I have proof for that though, but you don't. You
don't
are
have
saying
proof.
things.
You haven't shown proof.
I was telling you about Roman historians. I was telling you about all kinds of
Hold
stuff.
on. Well, Universal. This is the host talk. Universal truth. Do you believe in Noah's Ark?
Do I believe in Noah's Ark?
Yes.
Yeah, of course there was a Noah's
Lord
Ark.
Jesus.
You
Lord
have
Jesus.
no say so in this country.
Oh Lord Jesus.
You believe in Mickey Mouse?
So you telling me there was no table of nations, there was no Abraham, no Jesus, everything the Romans, the Greeks, they interacting with these people.
I said Noah's Ark. Do you believe in Noah's Ark?
Well, the people that the Greeks interacted with and documented their history, that they encountered these people and they conquered their land. So you're telling me those people who talk about Noah, who talk about Moses, you're telling me that's not true?
I'm saying Noah's Ark. So you believe Noah's Ark is a real story?
Well, the people the Greek interacted with say that Noah's Ark, that Noah existed. Anyway, let's get back to the point. Let's get back to the main point, because you got to study history, bro. This goes back to history again.
I study a lot more history. I read, actually.
I know, but hold on, though. You say you study, but the brother was educating you on
race. He was not educating me on anything.
Yes, he was.
Let me ask you the same question. You believe that this land is ours, right?
I believe that this land. Let me tell you something. The land will spit out all those people who came and conquered and rape and pillage. That's why they can barely handle the heat. Yes, the land is ours. Keep going.
Wait. So the land originally belonged to Black people, America. The land that is now known as the United States originally belonged to Black people. That's what you believe.
Let me give you a better response. Let me give you a 10,000-foot level response, because you're asking you done at
this yes or no level. Question, man. You guys
let me give it to you. Okay, let me give you. Let me give it to you.
Yes or no response. Yes or no. Yes or no?
Because of the table of nations, yes.
Because of the table. So, okay, now knowing that, right? And let's say if we all decided, hey, African Americans decided, hey, we're not African Americans, we're actually Indians. What's the next step? What's the next step we should do?
That's not true, bro. You're not telling the truth about that.
No. I'm asking.
Wait a minute. I'm just trying to tell you something. The history.
Hey, yeah. We got to close out anyway. We could do a part two.
Hey, host.
We're closing out. Oswald Bates, thank you for €11.99. The African Free School was founded on November 2nd, 1787 in Lower Manhattan by the New York Manumission Society and founding fathers Alexander Hamilton and John Jay. Everyone, thanks so much for joining. Like, subscribe.
Thank you, host.
Anytime. Appreciate y'all. Peace.